What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 5HT Chapter 81. Defeat the Crimson Sand Scorpion. Please subscribe to Xiaopuji and enjoy a bite. I choose 101 tail, as Ye Huo's voice fell. The sealed space was instantly filled with 101 tail. 8-sign seal crazily absorbs Ye Huo's chuck and becomes bigger and stronger. Ye Huo used wood style to separate 101 tail. And locked one tail's neck with wood style, the chakra that suppressed the tailed beast. One tail then became quiet. Ye Huo took a deep breath. Within a short period of time, his chakra consumed more than 2,000 units. With such a powerful sealing technique as 8-sign seal, coupled with the power of wood style and the power of the system, he can seal so many tailed beasts in his body. But even so, he was a little overwhelmed. Ye Huo decided to return to Dragon City first. Separate the tailed beast from the body. Just when Ye Huo thought of this, he suddenly felt chakra surging on the surface. Ye Huo jumped away instantly, and yellow placer gold surged out from the surface, turning into a yellow dragon and biting Ye Huo. Is this the placer gold of the fourth case cage? Ye Huo pulled out the true god grass pheasant sword. Chakra transforms into thunder power. Stab, stab. The grass pheasant sword shone with dazzling lightning, and the electricity shot out instantly, piercing the head of the placer gold dragon. Placer gold was scattered all over the ground, and at the same time, countless kunai and shurikens attached to the detonating talisman were fired towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo crossed his arms across his chest and smiled proudly. Sand shinobi rats, let me show you the power zone of trapped escape. Ye Huo's legs are slightly bent and his hands are quickly forming seals. The powerful chakra formed a substantial storm, causing Ye Huo's clothes to tremble and his long hair to dance wildly. Wood style is born in the world of super powerful trees. Ye Huo's fierce roar resounded throughout the world, and blue-black hard ancient trees rose from Ye Huo's feet. Ye Huo's body continued to rise, and its surroundings were completely blocked by ancient trees of the rainbow genus. Shuriken detonating symbols from all directions hit the ancient tree without causing any damage to the ancient tree. Ancient trees that are several feet to several meters thick are emerging from the ground one after another. Suddenly, the area within several thousand meters was plunged into a sea of trees. Dozens of sand shinobi were directly tied up by wood style's powerful force, and chakra was completely suppressed, unable to move at all. Fourth case cage Luosha's figure retreated quickly, but there were huge trees in all directions. Luosha didn't even have to dodge before she was tied up by the powerful wood style. Da da da. Crisp footsteps sounded. Ye Huo stepped on the tree trunk and walked to Luosha. He squatted down and said with a smile, Fourth case cage, I haven't seen you in a few years. You haven't made much progress. The corners of Luosha's mouth twitched, and her eyes were full of horror. Ye Huo, it's you. How can you know Senju Hashirama's wood style? You don't need to know this, but there is one thing you need to know. There are too many countries in the ninja world, and wars are too frequent. Only a unified city can end this endless war. Luosha's pupils shrank suddenly, and she said with shock and disbelief on her face, You want to unify the ninja world? Ye Huo nodded. Yes, you have seen my power. No one in the entire ninja world can stop me. You lunatic. Luosha's face was still filled with shock. For a moment, she couldn't accept Ye Huo's words at all. Ye Huo didn't care and said with a smile, Go back and think about it carefully. I believe that if you are a sensible person, you will agree. After saying that, Ye Huo jumped up high and landed on Didara's sticky king Feishui. Didara said angrily, Sir, you clearly promised me to capture one tail, but why did you capture him? Ye Huo gave Didara a slap in the face and cursed, Look at you, you made such a big noise when you entered. If it weren't for me, one-tailed Jinchuriki would have been moved away, and you still have the nerve to say it. Didara rubbed the back of his head, feeling depressed. The two of them had not been flying for long when suddenly their heads dimmed. The two looked up and saw countless puppets falling from the sky. Ye Huo and Didara jumped away instantly. The clay bird was immediately chopped into pieces. Didara couldn't help but cursed, Who doesn't have eyes and dares to sneak attack us? Ye Huo condensed his wings with 9 tails chakra, plunged into the woods below, activated the 6 paths primary sage body, and instantly sensed a powerful chakra. This chakra power is cage level. A powerful ninja suddenly appeared in Ye Huo's mind. Red Sand Scorpion. In the original work, the Red Sand Scorpion died at the hands of Chiyo and Sakura. At that time, Chiyo was a quasi-cage level expert, and little Sakura was also a Jonin whose extraordinary strength could reach elite Jonin. It stands to reason that the Red Sand Scorpion will never be defeated. Please give me flowers, but at the last moment, the Red Sand Scorpion relented. Chiyo paid too much for him. After all, he couldn't harden his heart and kill Chiyo. It is a pity that a generation of amazingly talented puppet masters died like this. Ye Huo quickly approached the direction of the Red Sand Scorpion. Almost instantly, he arrived in front of the Red Sand Scorpion. In front of him was an overly young face. Ye Huo knows that this is also a puppet body. When the red sand scorpion saw Ye Huo suddenly appearing in front of him, he was stunned for a moment. His hands were suddenly aimed at Ye Huo, and two holes appeared in the middle. Whoosh! The sword light flashed, and Ye Huo's hands were cut off directly by Ye Huo. Ye Huo sheathed his sword and said with a smile, "How can the crimson sand scorpion control the puppet without its fingers?" Scorpion's arms suddenly shot out chakra lines, pulled the severed hand over, reconnected it, and at the same time quickly retreated, keeping distance from Ye Huo. His expression became extremely solemn. Ye Huo smiled and said, "If I had the intention of killing you, that sword just now would have pierced your chest." The crimson sand scorpion's face changed drastically, and his still somewhat immature voice slowly sounded out, "How come you know so much about the puppet master?" Ye Huo said nothing, and took out a seal scroll from his arms, unfolded the scroll, and puppets flew into the air. 100 chakra threads shot out from Ye Huo's chest and were tied to the bodies of these puppets. "You actually know how to practice the forbidden technique?" Red Sand Scorpion's eyes were filled with shock. He couldn't believe that besides him, there are actually people who know this forbidden technique. The next moment, the Red Sand Scorpion controlled 100 puppets and rushed towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo also activated 100 puppets and collided with the puppets of the Crimson Sand Scorpion. In just a moment, Ye Huo relied on the advantage of the powerful chakra and the hard puppet to beat 100 puppets of the Crimson Sand Scorpion to pieces. But the Crimson Sand Scorpion also relied on its amazing skills to cripple more than 40 of his high-level puppets. Ye Huo secretly admired that this Red Sand Scorpion was indeed a genius among puppet masters. If they were equal, my puppetry skills would definitely be far inferior to his. I actually lost in the puppetry. The Crimson Sand Scorpion lost all fighting spirit in an instant, closed his eyes, and waited for the death sentence. Chapter 82. Each of you will get a tailed beast for you. Xiaopuji, please subscribe. The Red Sand Scorpion waited for a long time, nor did he wait for death to come. Scorpio slowly opened his eyes, then he saw that Ye Huo had already put away the true god grass pheasant sword. A pair of eyes was looking at him. "Why don't you kill me?" Ye Huo shook his head. "Your ninjutsu is very special. I will die in less than a few decades, but you may live for a long, long time. Such a great ninjutsu should not be cut off in my hands." Ye Huo stretched out his palm and said sincerely, "Shao, I want to unify the ninja world. I need your power. Come on, help me." Unify the ninja world? Xie was stunned. He looked at Ye Huo for a long time, and his eyes became weird, as if he was looking at an idiot. "Why? Don't you believe I have this kind of power?" Ye Huo raised his eyebrows. Xie shook his head. "You don't simply think that as long as you are strong enough, you can unify the ninja world. 690. Right? It is too difficult to unify the ninja world." The smile on Ye Huo's lips grew wider. "It's the hard things that are interesting. Scorpio, you can live for a long time. You probably don't want to live a plain life like water. Do you dare to accept this challenge with me?" Ye Huo stretched out his right hand again, strong haki emanating, and his sharp eyes stared at Scorpion. Xie pondered for a long time, and finally slowly held hands with Ye Huo. "You are an unusual man, and I also want to see how far you can go on the road to unifying the ninja world. Of course I will go to the end." Ye Huo has strong confidence in himself, and his words are full of endless appeal. "By the way, Scorpion, why did you sneak up on me?" "Is it for one tail?" "Yes, I'll give you one." "What? I will give you a tailed beast as a gift to welcome you to join." "Didera quit. As for me, little boss, I've been joining for so long and you didn't even say you would send me away. I'll give you one too." "Didera, is the tailed beast a Chinese cabbage? You can just give it away if you say so? Why do you feel like you are following a madman?" Next, Ye Huo handed over the 4-image sealing technique to the two of them. Didera and Scorpio looked at each other. They didn't expect that Ye Huo would actually do something serious. The two of them also studied the 8-sign seal along the way. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Ye Huo directly shared the 8-sign seal technique. The people of Dragon City cannot learn it instantly like Ye Huo. Orochimaru, the fastest learner, also spent a full month. Followed by Fugaku, Shisui, Kakuzu, Hiyashi, Hizashi, Scorpion, Didera, Zabuza, Chiaki, and Haku. Early that morning, Ye Huo took 10 people to the forest behind Longcheng. Originally there was no forest here, but Ye Huo forced himself to create a large forest. When he walked into the forest, Izuku saw a scene that shocked him extremely. Then, 10 nine-tails, which were hundreds of meters tall, were suppressed by wood style. A pair of evil eyes were looking at Ye Huo and others angrily. Fugaku was inexplicably shocked. How come there are 9 nine-tails? Orochimaru's golden pupils were full of shock. He understood a little bit what Ye Huo meant when he said, "Jinchuriki in the whole city." But how on earth did he do it? Ye Huo crossed his arms across his chest, and Haki said, "One for each person, I will help you seal it. Master Orochimaru, please make a show for everyone first." Orochimaru slowly turned his head to look at Ye Huo, obviously not yet recovered from the shock. "Jun Ye Huo, you are truly a miracle worker. I'll just choose the one on the edge." With that said, Orochimaru walked over and quickly formed seals with his hands. A dozen golden chakra chains suddenly appeared in Orochimaru's body, binding Nine Tails' neck, tail and limbs. Nine Tails roared loudly, "Ye Huo, you treat us like objects and dispose of us at will. Sooner or later, I will tear you apart." Ye Huo chuckled, and the powerful chakra suddenly erupted, suppressing Nine Tails. Orochimaru easily pulled Nine Tails into his body. Shisui, Kakuzu, Hiashi, Hizashi, Scorpion, and Chiaki also enriched Nine Tails. When it was Deidara and Zabuza's turn, they shook their heads and said, "We don't want Nine Tails." Ye Huo was stunned. "This is a great opportunity to increase your strength, why not?" "Hey, little lord, I want to seal One Tail. One Tail's attributes are similar to mine, hee." Ye Huo suddenly realized, smiled and cursed, "You are quite smart. Okay, the end of the day is the end of the day." Ye Huo released a One Tail, and Deidara was so happy that she sealed it inside her body. "Where are you two?" Ye Huo looked at Zabuza and Haku. Bai said, "Master Ye Huo, do we want 3 tails?" "No problem, Zabuza, what about you?" "I also want 3 tails," Zabuza said his expectations shamelessly. "It seems that our second target is 3 tails. Zabuza, you were once a Mist Ninja. Please prepare yourself. In half a month, you, me, and Deidara will go to the Mist Ninja to capture 3 tails. The reason why Ye Huo takes this half month is to process the One Tail in his body." Ye Huo separated 10 shadow clone. Use wood style to build cages and trap all the remaining 99 One Tails in them. Heavy defensive restrictions were set up. This day, Ye Huo, Zabuza, and Deidara were called clay birds and flew eastward. The 3 of them traveled through the Kingdom of Frost, the Kingdom of Fields, and the Kingdom of Iron, flew over the vast sea, and passed by the Kingdom of Tang. After flying for more than half a month, we finally arrived at a country composed of islands. It is the Land of Water. The 3 of them disguised themselves and continued eastward. Under the leadership of Zabuza, they finally arrived at an extremely large island. There are spire-like buildings built on the island. The air here is very humid, and water style can exert great power here at 5.9. Zabuza couldn't help but said, "Sir, the Mist Ninja occupies a good location here, and 3 tails can exert great power. If things go wrong, we will all die here." Ye Huo slapped Zabuza on the head. "The only thing you're not as good as Deidara is that you don't trust me. Go and grab a tongue and bring it back." Zabuza left and returned a short time later, carrying a ninja on his shoulders. Ye Huo cast an illusion and asked, "Take me to 3 Tails Jinchuriki." The Mist Ninja stood up, staggered, and walked towards the tallest building in the distance. Ye Huo was thinking about the current environment of Mist Ninja. Now it should be the 4th Mizukage Yagura who is in charge of the Mizukage village. And Obito is still secretly controlling the 4th Mizukage. Therefore, he may have 2 enemies this time. Chapter 83. How about Terumi Mei being my wife? Xiaopuji has no money to eat, please subscribe. Ye Huo and the other 3 lowered their straw hats. Follow the Mist Ninja and walk towards the tallest building. The fog is in the east blue, and it often rains lightly in the evening. The pattering raindrops wetted my clothes. Ye Huo suddenly stopped. Zabuza immediately became nervous. Deidara couldn't help but said, "Little boss, what's wrong? What else can happen? We've been discovered." Ye Huo simply threw away his hat and looked at the ground not far away. The water on the ground suddenly shot out countless kunai and shurikens attached to the detonating talisman. Ye Huo quickly formed seals with both hands. Wood-style super-powerful tree world has arrived. Powerful chakra was released from Ye Huo's body, and a large number of trees grew from under his feet, firmly protecting Ye Huo, Deidara, and Zabuza in the center. Boom boom boom. Bursts of explosions continued to sound. The detonating talisman kept exploding, but it didn't hurt the 3 people inside. Deidara couldn't help but said, "Little boss, your wood style is too powerful." At this moment, a loud shout suddenly came from outside. "Get out of the way." The baby-faced 4th Mizukage Yagura finally arrived. At the same time, he quickly formed seals with his hands, and a water whirlpool with a diameter of 3 meters and a height of more than 10 meters appeared in front of his eyes. Water-style water Uzumaki knife. The next moment, water blades shot at Ye Huo's wood style. Water Uzumaki's knife struck wood style, but it only left a shallow mark on wood style. So hard. Yagura's expression changed. "Let me come." A clear voice suddenly sounded. The ninjas of the Mist Ninja stepped aside one after another, and an extremely beautiful female ninja of the Mist Ninja came over. Her slender figure, tall and attractive figure, green eyes, long reddish-brown hair, pink lips, and majestic chest are full of extreme temptation for men. It is none other than Terumi Mei, the rising star of the Kiri ninja, who possesses cage-level strength. Terumi Mei quickly formed seals with her hands, and the chakra of fire and water attributes quickly condensed on her chest. Boil-style technique. Terumi Mei opened her mouth and spit out a large amount of high-heat acid mist. The extremely defensive wood style gradually decayed and turned into kuchiki dust when dissolved by the strong acid. Ye Huo and the other 3 jumped to the back to avoid. Terumi Mei was afraid that the acid mist would hurt civilians, so she breathed the acid mist back into her body. She looked at Ye Huo with bright eyes and chuckled. Uchiha Ye Huo, I didn't expect you to know wood style. Ye Huo looked Terumi Mei up and down and found that the real person was so beautiful. He couldn't help but admired. I didn't expect that the mist ninja would have such a peerless beauty. How about being my wife? Terumi Mei was stunned when she heard this. She lightly wiped her red lips with her slender fingers and chuckled. Kid, if sister, I like men who are not easy to melt. Let me first see how your body is. Lava-style monster melting technique. Terumi Mei quickly formed seals with her hands, spitting out extremely viscous and corrosive acid from her mouth, and dropped it towards the heads of Ye Huo and the others. Ye Huo's eyes suddenly appeared blood red, and the three Magatama quickly rotated into thousands of flowers, and finally turned into eternal million flowers. Purple-black chakra gushes out crazily, condensing into a 100-meter tall Zuzo Nengu. Bai Mi Shu Zuo, wearing heavy armor, blocked the strong acid. Technique is too acidic and must be dissolved quickly. Ye Huo grabbed Zabuza and Didera and threw them high into the air. You two stay away, don't be affected. Powerful chakra bursts from Ye Huo's body. Terumi Mei, if you want to be my wife, come after me. Ye Huo's figure flashed and quickly left the battlefield. Follow me. Fourth Mizukage led hundreds of fog ninjas in pursuit. Terumi Mei hesitated slightly and followed closely. Arriving on the vast sea, Ye Huo finally stopped. Fourth Mizukage shouted sharply, Ye Huo, even if you die here today. A red chakra appeared on Godachibana Korea's body, and he quickly formed a seal with his hands, water-style water dragon bomb. In an instant, a water dragon rose from the sea. Each water dragon is 7 or 8 meters thick and nearly 100 meters long. The huge water dragon set off waves more than 10 meters high on the sea surface. The roars shook the heavens and the earth. 10 water dragons surged wildly in the sea, carrying huge waves, and charged towards Ye Huo with extremely terrifying momentum. Ye Huo took a deep breath. I mentioned 1,000 single magic tricks at once. Sage Art Fire Style has so many great fireball techniques. In an instant, 100 great fireballs with a diameter of 200 meters shot out of the sky. The huge fireball was like the sun coming down. The light is dazzling. The blazing high temperature directly steams up the sea surface. The temperature within a radius of several thousand meters increased by more than 1,000 degrees. In just a short moment, 100 great fireballs instantly collided with the 10 fire dragons of the fourth Mizukage. Originally, water defeated fire, but the water dragon is too small and the fireball is too huge. 100 great fireballs instantly engulfed 10 water dragons. With powerful flames and scorching wind pressure, it crashed towards hundreds of mist ninjas. The ninjas in the fog were stunned. This is the sea. The power of fire style will be greatly weakened. The power of water style will be greatly enhanced. But even so, the water style of a strong man like fourth Mizukage was actually restrained by the fire style. The fourth Mizukage took off the weapon behind him and raised the sea surface, forming huge water mirrors with a diameter of 200 meters. Water style water mirror technique. In an instant, 100 great fireballs appeared in the water mirror, colliding with Ye Huo's great fireball. Pound 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 820 the fireballs collided and made a loud roar. Sparks shot out in all directions. It fell on the sea surface and made a sizzling sound. Within a radius of several thousand meters, it is completely covered by the water garden. Fourth Mizukage Gojukure Yagura retreated in panic, his whole body trembling slightly. His chakra consumption was too great. He couldn't imagine how that kid named Uchiha Ye Huo could release such a powerful fire style in the sea. At this moment, a bright light suddenly pierced out of the water mist and hit the wolfberry's abdomen. 4 great lords. The fog ninja exclaimed. Then he saw that what pierced fourth Mizukage was a strange weapon with lightning shining on it. Fourth Mizukage was paralyzed and unable to move at all. The mist ninjas ran towards the fourth Mizukage, want to take away the fourth Mizukage. At this time, Ye Huo's figure shot over. Several mist ninjas were knocked away. Ye Huo ripped off fourth Mizukage's clothes. I saw the sealing technique near his chest. Chakra appears on the fingertips of Ye Huo's 5 fingers, and the wolf is on the seal. The seal of the 5 elements of ninja is destroyed. The next moment, the seal of fourth Mizukage was torn open by Ye Huo. 3 tails, come out. A large amount of red chakra surged out. Condensed into a giant turtle with 3 tails, it is 3 tails Isofu. Chapter 84 The Fourth Ninja War, 2/6. Shao Puja, please subscribe. It's finally out. Ye Huo grinned. The 3 tails Ji Fu also noticed Ye Huo. Snarled at Ye Huo. Opening his big mouth, the terrifying chakra began to condense crazily. The tailed beast bomb, which has a diameter of 150 meters, gradually condenses and takes shape. Ye Huo put his hands together. The powerful 6 paths magic chakra pours out like crazy. The surrounding seawater was instantly pushed open. At Ye Huo's feet, a wooden golem quickly rose. Sage art wood style super powerful wooden golem jutsu. 1,000-meter tall wooden giant wearing wooden armor and having 3 heads and 6 arms suddenly appeared. With both feet on the bottom of the sea, most of the body is above the sea. Under Ye Huo's urging, Wooden Golem stretched out his palm and grabbed the three turtles like they were catching little turtles. Three Tails spit out a tailed beast bomb and was slapped away by Wooden Golem. It exploded on the distant sea, setting off huge waves. Waves tens of meters high are nothing to Wooden Golem. But a large number of Kiri ninjas were photographed underwater. It was hard to climb up. Terumi Mei and the hundreds of ninjas in the Mist Ninja were extremely shocked. 1,000-meter tall giant, has 3 heads and 6 arms. Catching the leader is like catching a little turtle. Slap away the tailed beast bomb. What is this? Terumi Mei was inexplicably shocked. Uchiha Ye Huo, is it already so powerful? A deep sense of powerlessness came over me. Wooden Golem grabbed Isofu's neck. More than a dozen golden chakra chains erupted from Ye Huo's body, pulling 3 tails into his body. Sealed in an empty 8-sign seal space. Ding, congratulations to host for capturing 3 tails. Ding. 100 times reward triggered. 1. 103-dimensional sandpipers. 2. 110 tails. I choose to reward 1,103 tails. Ye Huo made a choice, and 99 more 3 tails suddenly appeared in his body. At that moment, the 108-sign seal spaces once again absorbed Ye Huo's extremely large chakra. The more sealed space, the chakra consumed increases exponentially. Ye Huo was very happy. Fortunately, I learned the 100 healings mark early. Possessing extremely majestic chakra, after sealing the tailed beast, he has almost no fighting power. After sealing 3 tails, Ye Huo looked at Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei's face turned ugly for a moment, and she said sternly, Uchiha Ye Huo, do you want to provoke the 4th ninja war? Ye Huo did not answer Terumi Mei's question, but said, Big beauty, you just said that as long as I am hard enough, you will sit on my woman. Am I hard enough now? You'd better come with me. As soon as the words fell, Wooden Golem once again swung his huge first strike towards Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei quickly formed seals with her hands. Ninpo Lightning Water Dragon Bomb. The chakra in Terumi Mei's body is directly consumed by half. A huge water dragon with a length of 700 to 800 meters was completed. It sparkled with thunderbolts. The thunder water dragon slammed into Wooden Golem's huge palm. But the other 2 palms of Wooden Golem grabbed the head and tail. Wooden Golem pulled hard. The thunder water dragon was torn apart instantly. It turned into a thunderstorm and fell. Terumi Mei's face instantly turned pale and she knelt on the sea. The Wooden Golem's palms sprout tiny branches, wrapping towards Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei spits out the skillful mist technique and melts the branches, but more branches wrap around from all directions, binding Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei suddenly felt that chakra was suppressed. I don't have any strength at all. Ye Huo stepped forward, hugged Terumi Mei, put her on his shoulders and whistled. Didera urged the clay bird to descend, and Ye Huo jumped high, landed on the bird's back, and flew away into the distance. Didera chuckled and said, Little boss, you were really amazing. Not only did you capture the leader, you also captured a beautiful woman. What a beauty, this is the most beautiful woman in the entire ninja world. She will be my wife from now on. I will call her Ming-sama when we meet her from now on. Yes yes. Didera answered repeatedly. Ye Huo is simply too powerful. That inhuman power shocked Didera deeply. Let him not dare to resist at all. Terumi Mei bit her red lips and stared at Ye Huo. A deep sense of powerlessness came over me. Is there anyone in the entire ninja world who is a match for the man in front of me? This man is so domineering. If I fall into his hands, I am afraid that I will end up miserable. However, he said that he was the most beautiful woman in the ninja world. This sentence is not bad. What are you thinking about? 4th Mizukage is dead. If you leave again, the Mist Ninja will definitely fall into a war. At this time, Terumi Mei suddenly said, Ye Huo, even if you catch me now, but I want to die, you will get nothing, but as long as you agree to my request, I will marry you. Ye Huo looked at Terumi Mei and pondered for a moment, what do you want me to promise you? Terumi Mei said, 4th Mizukage is dead. If I leave too, the Kingdom of Water will inevitably fall into war. I must go back to reorganize the overall situation, ensure the stability of the Kingdom of Water, and protect millions of people. Ye Huo nodded when he heard this. She is indeed the woman I like. Okay, I promise you. Didera, descend. Ye Huo relaxed wood style. Terumi Mei jumped down from the claybird, couldn't help but look back at Ye Huo and said, You just believe in me. Are you not afraid that I will integrate the Kingdom of Water and fight against you? Ye Huo smiled and said, The Kingdom of Water, the Kingdom of Destruction, the Kingdom of Wind King, and the Kingdom of Thunder will all belong to the Kingdom of Dragons sooner or later. Now that you go back to govern the Kingdom of Water, you are also governing it for me. What an arrogant man. Terumi Mei took one last look at Ye Huo, with a hint of cunning in her eyes, and her body slowly sank into the water and disappeared. Didera couldn't help but said, Little boss, there is no need to say more. She will definitely take the lead in resisting you, for money, so you shouldn't let her go. Ye Huo gave Delata a slap on the back of the head. What do you know? Let's go back to the Dragon Kingdom. Half a month later, the 3 of them returned to the Dragon Kingdom. Fugaku and Hyuga Hiyashi selected many ninjas who were willing to be Jinchuriki and who were very loyal to Dragon City. However, the quality and quantity of the chakra of these ninjas were insufficient, so Ye Huo divided the chakra of a tailed beast into many parts and sealed them in the body of the Dragon City ninja. Now almost half of the ninjas in Dragon City are Jinchuriki. In recent times, Dragon City has become famous, and many famous ninjas have come to join Dragon City. Ye or ignore worldly things. An artificial lake was created around the large forest that sealed one tail and 9 tails. There are 83-footed turtles inside. What Ye Huo doesn't know is, now the Kingdom of Fire, the Kingdom of Wind, and the Kingdom of Water have secretly begun to unite, preparing to launch the 4th Ninja War to destroy the Kingdom of Dragon and kill Ye Huo. Chapter 85 I became the villain boss, please subscribe. Ye Huo doesn't know that at this moment he has become the biggest villain boss in the eyes of the 3 major countries. Just after capturing 3 tails, Ye Huo immediately headed to the Kingdom of Thunder. Get ready to catch 8 tails. Ye Huo's current goal is to collect all 8 tails. All the people of Dragon City are Jinchuriki, then unify the ninja world. Ye Huo recently heard that major powers have begun to protect Jinchuriki. As you can imagine, the further back you go, the harder it will be to capture the tailed beast. Therefore, Ye Huo decided to capture the powerful tailed beast first while it was easier. Ye Huo originally wanted to catch 9 tails, but thinking that Minato was his teacher after all. And he had hugged Naruto, he once said that he would personally teach Naruto. But the subsequent development of things was completely beyond his plan. Forget it 9 tails. Start capturing with 8 tails. Ye Huo called Deidara and Zabuza and flew towards the Kingdom of Thunder. Passing through the Kingdom of Frost and flying across the Wangyang Sea, half a month later, a continent appeared in front of us. They have arrived in the Land of Thunder. The altitude of the Kingdom of Thunder is relatively high. Moreover, Lei Ninja Village is built on continuous mountain peaks. There are thunderstorms here all year round, which is very conducive to the training of Thunder attribute ninjas. Perhaps 730 may have heard that 1 tail and 3 tails were arrested recently. The defense of Lei Ninja Village became very tight. Looking from a distance, the villages built on the mountains support one barrier after another. These barriers are hidden in the winding cloud garden. Deidara passed through the clouds and brought Ye Huo and Zabuza to the sky above the Thunder Ninja Village. Suddenly, a series of crossbow arrows attached to the detonating talisman suddenly shot towards the clay bird. Ye Huo couldn't help but cursed, Deidara, how did you do this and why were you discovered again? Deidara hurriedly avoided it and said aggrievedly, little boss, I have never been to the Kingdom of Thunder. How dare you talk back? Ye Huo slapped Deidara on the head. Ye Huo opened the primary sage of 6 paths body. Powerful perception swept across the Kingdom of Thunder. Several powerful strands of chakra were found, but none of them are from the 8 Jinchuriki. At this time, in the Sea of Wangyang, the Sun Islands were floating. The island is covered with sharp protruding stone pillars. There are all kinds of vegetation, birds and animals in the gaps. Occasionally, 1 or 2 ninjas jumped on top of the stone pillar and looked into the distance. At this time, if someone looks from a distance, they will see that this so-called island is actually an extremely huge turtle. Inside the turtle's shell, Killer Bee is dancing a weird dance, and little Naruto next to him is also twisting around with Killer Bee and singing strange songs. In addition to Killer Bee and Naruto, the 2 tails Jinchuriki, 4 tails Jinchuriki, 5 tails Jinchuriki, 6 tails Jinchuriki, and 7 tails Jinchuriki are all gathered here. Because of Ye Huo, the 5 major powers have reached an alliance. Gather the Jinchuriki within the 5 countries and send a large number of manpower for unified protection. And this is all Mizukage Terumi Mei's hard request. But Killer Bee and other Jinchuriki seemed very relaxed. Their idea is simple, especially Killer Bee, who once fought against Ye Huo. Although Ye Huo's strength is good, it is still very difficult to deal with him now. Not to mention that there are 7 Jinchuriki here, although one of them is a kid, it is definitely not something Ye Huo can deal with alone. Plus the strong men from the 5 major ninja villages. Killer Bee feels that this is a trap for Ye Huo. Is such a big battle necessary to deal with that brat? In order to protect 9 tails Jinchuriki, Konoha even sent Jiraiya, one of the Sannin, and Guy. Jiraiya met the 8 Jinchuriki, and they were really like each other. He stared at the chest of the second-tailed Jinchuriki every day. Then a fierce battle ensued. Jiraiya and Killer Bee were beaten all over their heads. However, the 2 of them still enjoyed it and continued to peek and get beaten. But he said that Ye Huo did not find 8 tails Jinchuriki in the Land of Thunder. Immediately I thought of BCDD, the big turtle, so Ye Huo asked Deidara to keep flying on the sea surface. Ye Huo's powerful perception spreads all over. Finally, 2 months later, the huge turtle was found. At this time, Jiraiya, who had just been beaten, suddenly looked into the void. Following closely, the other Jinchuriki and others also looked towards the sky. The other ninjas didn't know what was going on and looked up into the air. In midair, a clay bird flew over. On the clay bird, Ye Huo looked at the lonely island floating close to the Kingdom of Water, and felt the dozens of cage-level powerful chakra below. Ye Huo was stunned. What's the situation? Why are there so many strong men? Ye Huo felt it slightly. There were 9 tails chakra, 8 tails chakra, and even the power of immortals, as well as 5 other chakras belonging to tailed beasts. Could it be that all the leaders have gathered together? And who is that immortal power? Could it be Jiraiya? Moreover, there is a kind of force tomb that has been missing for a long time. That belongs to Guy. Guy actually arrived too. Ye Huo suddenly became very energetic. Guy is the man who almost kicked out the finale, don't be careless at all. But it looks like the 5 major countries have completely united. It seems that he has become the big boss in the eyes of the 5 major countries. Ye Huo looked strange for a while, and then said to Zabuza and Deidara, "You two, stay away." Deidara chuckled. "Little boss, we are no longer Jinchuriki, let's go down and help you. If you're not afraid of being affected, then come down." With that said, Yi Mie jumped off the sticky bird. Deidara and Zabuza also jumped down. They also felt those powerful chakras below. They are afraid that Yi or the boat will capsize in the gutter. So we should respond to 1 or 2. 3 figures landed on the back of the giant turtle. The next moment, Jiraiya, Guy, one of the Sannin, as well as the quasi-shadow strongman Wangtu from Rock Shinobi Village, the quasi-shadow strongman Darui from Thunder Ninja, the Fog Ninja, and the strongman from Sand Shinobi. Ye Huo looked at the man standing in the front. He was tall and burly, with white hair and the word forehead protector between his eyebrows. He was Jiraiya, one of the Sannin of Konoha. Ye Huo smiled and said, "Master Jiraiya, I really didn't expect that we would meet in such a way." Jiraiya's lecherous and cynical expression had long since disappeared. Instead, he said with incomparable solemnity, "Ye Huo, you are the proud disciple of the 4th generation. You may inherit the Hokage in the future. Why should you betray Konoha and give up becoming the Hokage?" Ye Huo crossed his arms across his chest and said calmly, "Konoha has decayed. Instead of rotting with it, it is better for me to re-establish a ninja village, establish the kingdom of dragons, and unify the ninja world. Only great unification can bring true peace. Jiraiya-sama, you are also one of the Sannin. Orochimaru-sama can understand and support me. I hope you can also stand by my side." Chapter 86 The Battle of Immortals. Jiraiya froze in place. Lois, Darui and many ninjas from the 5 countries were also stunned. Even Guy, the god-tier man, was stunned in place. Since Sengoku, there has been no concept of unity. Even Senju Hashirama, who is known as the god of the ninja world, and the big boss Uchiha Madara do not have the concept of unity. Ye Huo proposed the concept of great unification. No one among the 5 ninjas could accept it. Unification of the 5 kingdoms? Are you kidding me? After reunification, will you still be a shadow? It's not enough for you Ye Huo to create a dragon ninja. You also want to annex the 5 major countries. It's simply a wishful thinking. Uchiha is ambitious and greedy like never before. Jiraiya formed a seal with his hands, and then drew the prototype of a fairy face near his eye sockets. Ye Huo, you have gone crazy. Let's compete with each other using magic. Ye Huo curled his lips and looked at Jiraiya's increasingly ugly fairy face. Is that also called fairy face? Ye Huo instantly stimulates the primary sage of 6 paths body. A perfect fairy face suddenly appeared on Ye Huo's cheeks. Jiraiya was slightly startled when he saw it, and was shocked in his heart. Just by seeing that perfect fairy face, he knew that he was probably no match for Ye Huo. Jiraiya clasped his hands together, and a halo of light emanated from his hands. Moment. Bang bang. 2 soft sounds rang out. Jiraiya has 2 more frog immortals on his shoulders. It was Fukasaku and Shima. Jiraiya briefly told the 2 great toad sage what happened. Fukasaku and Shima both looked at Ye Huo. "Kid, is what Jiraiya said true?" Ye Huo nodded and said, "2 immortals, if the ninja world wants to usher in true peace, it can only be unified." Fukasaku said, "Kid, how can unification be so easy? There have been so many wars between the 5 great ninja villages, and how deep the hatred between them is. How could they give up these hatreds and stand together?" Ye Huo's eyes gradually deepened. 2 adults, human beings are greedy. There will be no eternal enemies between humans, only eternal interests. Look, the 5 major ninja villages are united very well now. They all know to deal with me together. This shows that my unification can be achieved. Shima Sennin looked at the 5 great ninjas behind Jiraiya, then at Ye Huo, and finally at Fukasaku and said, "Old man, what do you think we should do?" Fukasaku sighed, and then said to Jiraiya, "Little Jiraiya, we can't help you this time, but we won't help Ye Huo either." After saying that, Fukasaku left. Shima also remembered. Ye Huo and Jiraiya can no longer cast the summoning technique. Jiraiya took a deep breath, his eyes gradually sharpened, he kicked off his clogs, his legs were slightly bent, then suddenly straightened, like a cannonball fired at Ye Huo. Sage Art Massive Rasengan. Jiraiya instantly arrived on top of Ye Huo's head, and a huge blue chakra energy ball with a diameter of 100 meters hit Ye Huo. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes, raised his right hand, and the purple-black chakra quickly condensed. Sage Art Superpower Rasengan. A huge purple-black Rasengan with a diameter of more than 200 meters suddenly appeared and collided hard with Jiraiya's Rasengan. Crack, crackle, crackle, the sound of exploding the air continued to sound. The terrifying chakra airwaves surged in all directions from the center of the explosion like water waves. The strong wind swept across, and the ninjas present retreated and covered their eyes. He looked at the scene in front of him in shock. The purple-black ultra-powerful Rasengan severely suppressed Jiraiya's massive Rasengan. Finally, a dent was made in it, and finally it suddenly exploded. There was a loud bang. Jiraiya was sent flying directly, breaking more than a dozen stone pillars. The terrifying shock wave directly sent the surrounding ninjas flying backwards. Darui clung to the stone pillar, shocked by the huge purple-black Rasengan. Is this the strength of Uchiha Ye Huo, the so-called immortal of the ninja world? The ninjas of the 5 major countries avoided this powerful impact. I was shocked to the extreme. It's so scary. Jiraiya, one of the Sannin, Jiraiya who is known as the immortal, can't even block Ye Huo's blow. Such a huge Rasengan was shattered by Ye Huo in one fell swoop. Ye Huo's purple-black Rasengan is simply more powerful than the tailed beast bomb. Ye Huo threw the spiral directly. Rasengan exploded immediately. The terrifying shock wave instantly shattered countless stone pillars. Please give me flowers. The giant turtle shell was blown out of a large crater with a diameter of more than 1,000 meters. A shrill scream came from the giant turtle's mouth. Gurgling blood flowed out. This giant turtle has already suffered a fatal blow. The island began to sink. 7 Jinchuriki also jumped out of the giant turtle's body. Falling on the sea, staring at Ye Huo locked eyes with Jinchuriki. He wasn't here to fight Jiraiya. His goal is to capture the tailed beast. All the tailed beasts are here now. It's a good time to make an arrest. Sage Art Wool Needle 1000 books. Jiraiya suddenly appeared behind Ye Huo. The white hair turned into countless thousands of books and shot toward Ye Huo. Ye Huo's perception is so powerful. Open the Zuzo Nengu in an instant. The purple-black skeleton giant appeared and blocked Shinban's attack. Ye Huo waved his hand and hit Jiraiya with his powerful purple-black arm. Jiraiya once again condensed the massive Rasengan and hit the skeleton giant's arm hard. Ye Huo's body trembled, and his arm was deflected by the massive Rasengan's blow, and it was severely chopped on the stone pillar. Suddenly, dozens more stone pillars were destroyed, and the giant turtle descended much faster. Ye Huo looked at Jiraiya. Master Jiraiya, your magic is as different as clouds and mud compared to mine. Now you should believe that I have the power to unify the ninja world. Jiraiya-sama, haven't you always wanted to pursue peace? Peace is at hand. As long as I capture the tailed beast and gain more power, then I can completely unify the ninja world, and true peace will come. Darui, take the Jinchuriki away first. Jiraiya gasped. He is the chief guard of the Jinchuriki, and everyone must obey his orders. Darui left decisively with Killer Bee and others, but Killer Bee and other Jinchuriki refused and at the same time transformed into half-tailed beasts. Kunuraru, Bajyalu, Ye Huo, Kid, suffer death. Except for Naruto, the 6 Jinchuriki simultaneously condensed a huge tailed beast bomb with a diameter of 200 meters and blasted towards the destruction at the same time. Seeing this, Ye Huo's fighting spirit was suddenly aroused. He laughed and said, okay. 6 Jinchuriki attacked at the same time. It seems that I have to be a little more serious. Chapter 87. Crush the 6 Jinchuriki, 5/6, please subscribe. Powerful chakra erupts all over Ye Huo. The purple-black chakra is visible to the naked eye. The impact caused cracks to appear on the ground. Jiraiya, Darui and others kept retreating. What a powerful chakra. Is this the power of Ninjago? Kaguya Road, 8 Tails Road, Ye Huo, the little brat, is so powerful, take a hit from me. 8 Tails Jinchuriki spit out the tailed beast bomb towards Ye Huo. The other 5 Jinchuriki also took action at the same time. 6 huge tailed beast bombs crashed towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo clasped his hands together and shouted, Sage Art Wood Style Extra Large Wooden Golem Jutsu. In an instant, a huge wooden golem with a height of 1,000 meters quickly emerged. Wooden golem has 3 heads and 6 arms, wearing wooden armor, and its 6 huge palms easily grabbed 6 tailed beast bombs. With a flick of his arm, 6 tailed beast bombs were thrown away. Boom boom boom. 770. 6 tailed beast bombs exploded on the surface of the sea. The intense light was like 6 suns suddenly appearing. The powerful shockwave set off huge waves. Kaguya Road, Baggy Road, completely transformed into a tailed beast. In an instant, 8 Tails Jinchuriki transformed into a giant bull-headed octopus, with each tail more than 100 meters long. The other 5 Jinchuriki also turned into 5-tailed beasts. Power that was 10 times more powerful than before instantly burst out from the 6-tailed beasts. 2 Tails Matabi, 4 Tails Son Goku, 5 Tails Kakuyo, 6 Tails Seiken, 7 Tails Chome, and 8 Yuki. The 6-tailed beasts roared and rushed towards Ye Huo. The complete body of the tailed beast is nothing more than this. The top of wooden golem's head, Ye Huo's hands quickly formed the seal. Sage art wood-style super powerful tree realm is born. The huge chakra gushes out again. A large purple-black tree grew from the ground and wrapped around the bodies of the six-tailed beasts. The six-tailed beasts bit hard, but wood-style was extremely tough and couldn't bite open at all. Only the liquid sprayed by six-tailed Seiken can corrode wood-style. But more wood-styles came around and tied six-tailed Seiken to death. The chakra in Seiken's body is completely suppressed by wood-style. No more acid can be released. The oversized wooden golem grabbed six tails with six huge palms at the same time. Six tails let out a scream and was firmly grasped by the wooden golem. Ye Huo slowly separated his hands, looked down at Zai Lai and waited for others. Now, I have gathered the nine-tailed beasts. The power of the entire ninja world is completely in my hands. The era of great unification of the ninja world is coming. This is the general trend. You should prepare for surrender. Deidara, let's go. As he finished speaking, Deidara chewed the clay frantically, consuming a large amount of one-tailed chakra, and finally condensed it into a huge clay bird with a wingspan of more than 2,000 meters. The flying bird grabbed the giant's shoulder and flew towards the distance. The five great nation ninjas just watched helplessly as six Jinchuriki were taken away. But nothing can be done. Ye Huo is too powerful. It's simply something they can handle. Will the unification of the ninja world really come true? Half a month later, Ye Huo has returned to Dragon City. Six Jinchuriki's chakras were drawn. Then he used ninja art, meiotic regeneration to save the lives of Killer Bee and others. To unify the ninja world, killing alone is not enough. Killer Bee and the other six Jinchuriki walked around the Dragon City. It was discovered that almost all ninjas were Jinchuriki. And a lot of Uchiha's eyes, a lot of them are Mangekyo. There's even an eternal Mangekyo. A pair of eternal Mangekyo are very scary. There are actually dozens of pairs here. Killer Bee finally understands now. Why is Ye Huo so arrogant? They have arrogant capital. Eternal Mangekyo plus the tailed beast sealed within the body. Killer Bee thought to himself that he could not defeat any of the dozens of Uchiha ninjas. There are at least dozens of cage-level experts in the small Dragon City. I don't know how many cage levels there are. The rest are basically elite jonin. Time passed bit by bit. The five major countries have formed a ninja alliance. Heading towards Dragon City. At the same time, the people of Longsheng also received the news. The whole city began to prepare for war. Ye Huo is as if he has never heard of it. Continue to refine your chakra. A few more days later. Ye Huo finally refined the first unit of cage-level chakra. Ding, congratulations to host, you got 1 unit of cage-level chakra. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 units of cage-level chakra. 2. 1 unit of 6 pads level chakra. This is the chakra of Ye Huo itself. Instead of chakra that absorbs the power of immortals. I choose 1 unit of 6 pads level chakra, as Ye Huo's voice fell. The next moment, the chakra of Ye Huo's body and the power of wood style merged again to produce even more powerful power. Ye Huo's left eye began to change. The 3 Magatama becomes Mangekyo. From Eternal Mangekyo to Rinnegan again. Ding, congratulations to host for getting Rinnegan. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 ordinary Rinnegan. 2. 9 Magatama top Rinnegan. I choose the 9 Magatama top Rinnegan. As Ye Huo's voice fell, Magatama appeared on the ripples in Ye Huo's eyes. An extremely powerful force came from the left eye. Ding. Congratulations to host, the power of Yang in the left eye gave birth to 9 truth-seeking balls. Ding. 100 times reward is triggered. Close black lens bracket 1. Too many truth-seeking balls. 2. Chaowei truth-seeking ball. Ye Huo is overjoyed. He remembered, in the original work. Then Obito became the sage of 6 paths, and the sword condensed with the truth-seeking ball was not broken. I absolutely cannot follow Obito's footsteps. I choose the powerful truth-seeking ball. The next moment, the 9 pitch black truth-seeking balls turned purple-black. Ye Huo is not satisfied yet. Refining of chakra begins again. A few hours later. Ding, congratulations to host for getting Rinnegan. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 ordinary Rinnegan. 5.82, 9 Magatama top Rinnegan. I choose the 9 Magatama Rinnegan. An extremely powerful force came from the left eye. Ding. Congratulations to the host, the power of Yang in the right eye gave birth to the summoning technique. Ding. 100 times reward is triggered. Close black lens bracket 1. Too many Gedo statue summoning technique. Summoning 100 ordinary Gedo statues. 2. Super powerful Gedo statue summoning technique. Summoning 1 super powerful Gedo statue. Super powerful Gedo statue? Ye Huo was a little confused. Checked it carefully. Ordinary Gedo statue can only accommodate 9-tailed beasts, that is, 1 tail to 9 tails. But the powerful Gedo statue can accommodate 101 tail to 9 tails. I choose the powerful Gedo statue summoning technique. As Ye Huo made his choice, countless information entered Ye Huo's mind. Chapter 88. One person crushes the coalition forces of the 5 major powers, 6/6. Ye Huo seizes the time and keeps practicing. Ding, congratulations to host for getting 1 unit of cage level chakra. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 units of cage level chakra. 2. 1 unit of 6 pads level chakra. I choose 100 units of cage level chakra. The chakra of the body becomes more refined and solid. At the same time, the power produced by the first generation cells is several times more powerful. Ye Huo began to refine the magic again. The quality of chakra directly shocked Ye Huo. Ding! Congratulations to host for getting 1 unit of 6 paths advanced magic chakra. Close black lens bracket. 100 times reward trigger. 1. 100 units of 6 paths advanced magic chakra. 2. 6 paths advanced sage body. Ye Huo is overjoyed. Ye Huo's own chakra upper limit is increased. The chain reaction caused was so huge. I choose 6 paths premium sage body. After getting 6 paths advanced sage body, Ye Huo spent day and night refining Chak 12 La. Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining 100 units of advanced magic chakra. Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining 100 units of advanced magic chakra. Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining 100 units of advanced magic chakra. In a short period of time, Ye Huo gathered a massive amount of chakra, condensed into 100 healings mark. Maximize the power of wood style. Everything is rising. It elevated Ye Huo's strength to a whole new level. Ye Huo formed a seal with his hands and slammed the ground. A huge Gedo statue, 10,000 meters high, was summoned. Ye Huo quickly formed seals with his hands and shouted loudly, "Imaginary 9 Dragons seal." In an instant, golden chains came out of Gedo statue's mouth and wrapped around the tailed beasts scattered around. There are 30 each from 1 tail to 9 tails. In an instant, the 270-tailed beast was completely sealed into the 10,000-meter giant demon statue. Ye Huo's hands changed again, and the powerful 6 paths advanced magic chakra poured out crazily. Sealed the powerful Gedo statue into his body. Ye Huo suddenly felt that his already extremely powerful strength had surged again. Ye Huo did not use chakra at all. The surface of the body emits purple light. The truth-seeking ball behind it also emits purple light. At the same time, a purple scepter slowly emerged. At this moment, Shisui suddenly appeared next to Ye Huo. Shisui immediately sensed that the chakra in Ye Huo's body was as majestic as a mountain dwelling. Young Patriarch. You. Shisui looked at Ye Huo in surprise, unable to believe what he was feeling. Is something wrong? Ye Huo asked. Hiss. Shisui took a breath of cold air, and then said, Young Patriarch, the allied forces of the 5 major nations have arrived outside Dragon City and are ready to attack the city at any time. Lord Patriarch, please let me come and ask for your instructions. The Patriarch's order. At this time, Ye Huo is the shadow of the Dragon Kingdom. But Shisui still used to call him the young Patriarch. Tell the old man, Orochimaru and the others that they don't need to take action. I can deal with the 5-nation coalition by myself. After Ye Huo finished speaking, his figure flashed and disappeared from the place in an instant. Shisui was inexplicably shocked. After staying for a while, he hurriedly went to deliver Ye Huo's order. Ye Huo came to the south of Longcheng. Tens of thousands of ninja troops formed 5 square formations on the vast plain. At the forefront of the phalanx are the shadows of the 5 major countries. 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki, 4th Kazekage Rasa, 4th Mizukage Terumi Mei, 4th Reikage I. Ye Huo's eyes stayed on Terumi Mei's beautiful face and smiled. Beauty, you don't mean what you say. Terumi Mei looked at Ye Huo with deep shock in her eyes. Ye Huo not only changed greatly in appearance. That kind of coercion is even more powerful than it was a few months ago. Even though she was hundreds of meters away, she could still feel the terrifying chakra naturally revealed by Ye Huo. It's simply the best-tailed beast among tailed beasts. For a moment, Terumi Mei stayed where she was. Namikaze Minato's eyes were filled with disbelief. At this moment, Ye Huo's chakra is more than 1,000 times more powerful than him. Reikage's eyes widened. It was hard to believe what was happening before me. Onoki Kage and the others were all shocked by Ye Huo's powerful chakra, and immediately shouted, Uchiha brats, try how powerful I am. A cube-shaped transparent barrier opened between Onoki's palms. Dust escape limitation stripping technique. The barrier suddenly expanded and shot towards Ye Huo. The next moment, the truth-seeking ball behind Ye Huo suddenly opened a purple shield and blocked Onoki's attack. Onoki was stunned when he saw that Chen Dun was actually blocked. The next moment, Ye Huo suddenly appeared behind Onoki and whipped Onoki directly from midair to the ground with a leg whip. The bad old man is really bad, and he wants to make a sneak attack. The purple shield recondensed into the truth-seeking ball, floating next to Ye Huo. Ye Huo looked at the tens of thousands of ninjas below and said, Wars in the ninja world are caused by the conflicts of interests of the five major powers. Ordinary ninjas can only be reduced to tools for the five major countries to compete for their interests. 013. Now, I want to eliminate the five major countries and only establish the Dragon Kingdom. Why? From now on, there will be no war in the ninja world. Every one of you can live in peace. Upon hearing this, Reincarnation took a step forward and said angrily, "Fart, you kidnapped Bai, and you were talking about unifying the five countries, you lunatic." After Reincarnation finished speaking, his whole body was covered with lightning, and he instantly rushed towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo stared slightly, then reached Reincarnation's chest in an instant, and kicked the movie away. Darui roared loudly, "Thunder Ninja, listen to my orders, Lan Dunley defeats Suohesu." Countless lasers shot at Ye Huo instantly. Truth-seeking ball once again formed a shield in front of him. Almost at the same time, Namikaze Minato arrived in front of Ye Huo. A kunai was drawn towards Ye Huo's neck. Ye Huo's arm suddenly grabbed Minato's wrist. Ye Huo turned his head, and the 9 Magatama Rinnegan stared at Minato. "I didn't expect that the 4th Hokage would be merciless at all." "Ye Huo, don't make any more mistakes. You mean, I was wrong?" Ye Huo looked at Minato with a sarcastic look in his eyes. 8 inner gates, 7th gate, open the door. Guy's roar came from below. Minato's voice disappeared from where he was in an instant. Day Tiger. Guy punched tens of thousands of punches in an instant, and his terrifying energy formed an air tiger, which bit Ye Huo in one bite. Chapter 89. Completely exploding Emperor Guy, 1/6. The size of the fully pressed Raihuhu is several thousand meters in size. The power is extremely terrifying. The aftermath alone disrupted the military formation of tens of thousands of ninja coalition forces. Tens of thousands of ninjas exclaimed, "What ninjutsu is this?" "No, that's not ninjutsu, UN taijutsu." "What, how could it be taijutsu? How can physical skills be so powerful?" "That's Konoha's blue beast, Might Guy's unique taijutsu, 8 inner gates formation." At this moment, the little-known Might Guy is like his father, because Hirutora is famous in the ninja world. Luo Sha looked at Juhu and praised, 8 inner gates formation, it's really amazing. Onoki emerged from the ground, supported his old waist, looked at Ye Huo who was swallowed by the Day Tiger, and sneered, "Uchiha's little devil must be torn to pieces with such an attack." Terumi Mei narrowed her eyes slightly and looked into the air. There was a dim light in Minato's eyes, under such an attack. Yi will be seriously injured even if he doesn't die. But at this moment, 2 big purple chakra hands suddenly appeared and grabbed Hiruta's big mouth. Chakra's arm exerted a slight force, and the big mouth of the Day Tiger was directly torn into pieces. The terrifying Day Tiger was torn apart by Ye Huo with brute force. The wind was light and the clouds were light. Ye Huo stood in the air, looking down at the ninja coalition of the 5 major countries. How is that possible? Terumi Mei's eyes suddenly widened, full of disbelief. Even the Day Tiger. Cough cough. There was a spasm in Guy's body, and Guy couldn't help but cough. Uchiha's brat, has he become so tyrannical? In the ninja world, is there anyone else who can stop him? Is this the power of Ninjago? He can't beat him, he can't beat him. All of us put together will not be his opponent. Kakashi sighed, it seems that no one can stop him anymore. No. I have another trick. Guy endured the severe pain and stood up. Kakashi was stunned and his face changed drastically. Guy, you. Guy took a deep breath. The blue beast of Konoha has reached the time to shine. Fortunately, I already have the inheritance. Guy steps forward and burns his blood, creating red steam. A force 10 times more powerful than before burst out. Every time Guy took a step, the ground beneath his feet cracked. With Guy as the center, there is no intact place within a kilometer radius. The ninjas from the 5 kingdoms looked at Guy in shock. At this time, Guy's strength has already faded. Ye Huo looked at Guy and said in a deep voice, "Guy, why do you do this? Don't you want to see peace?" Guy stared at Ye Huo. "Mr. Ye Huo, I also hope for peace, but I always feel that peace should not be obtained by force." Ye Huo shook his head and said, "Guy, isn't the peace in Konoha the result of war? Forget it, it doesn't make sense to tell you. I have to knock you down first." An extremely powerful chakra suddenly erupted in Ye Huo's body, and 9 truth-seeking balls formed armor and clung to his body. Almost at the same time, Guy took action. The ground within a radius of several thousand meters instantly shattered. Guy jumped high into the air and punched out, Shi Shang, 1 foot. The air shock wave visible to the naked eye pierced the air and hit Ye Huo's chest. Boom. A loud noise caused pain to the eardrums of tens of thousands of ninjas. They all opened their mouths and covered their ears, but they still could not block the invasion of the sound waves. In midair, the ripples in the air were as visible to the naked eye as water waves, rapidly spreading towards the ninja coalition. The ninja coalition was like a small boat in the waves of the sea. Each one was rolled over by the waves, and tens of thousands of ninja coalition troops fell down one after another, feeling embarrassed for a while. 2 legs, 3 legs, 4 legs, 5 legs. In an instant, Guy launched 5 attacks in an instant, each one stronger than the last, and each one more powerful than the last. This attack is more than 10 times more powerful than before. Uchiha's kid must be dead. Onoki squinted and looked at Ye Huo, who was hit one after another. Although it's a pity to die like this, it's better to die. Terumi Mei narrowed her eyes again. Under such an attack, even the ninja sage would have to die. However, endless purple chuck erupted in midair. The terrifying energy instantly shattered Shi Zhang's power. Guy, is this all your power? I'm a little disappointed. Ye Huo's loud voice sounded, and the faces of all the ninjas became extremely ugly again. A pair of eyes stared at the giant in the void. The giant was nearly 100 meters tall, its entire body was dark purple, and there was a bright purple light lingering outside, filled with energy like a mountain. What is that? That's Ye Huo's Suzuo. Did this power just block Guy's attack? What a powerful force, so powerful, as majestic and powerful as a mountain. Ye Huo looked at Guy below. Guy, use all your strength. Guy's body clothes were torn to pieces, and his charcoal-like skin was exposed. Cracks appeared on the surface of the skin. The pupils of both eyes were blurred. He gasped violently. Could it be that the Shi Shang he used by burning his blood couldn't even hurt him? Ye Huo, how powerful are you? Guy's right thumb thrust into his heart. His heart suddenly stopped, and an energy wave that was 10 times more powerful than before suddenly erupted. The earth and rocks with a radius of several kilometers with Guy at the center were completely shattered, and nearby ninjas were instantly thrown away. Many ninjas died directly from this powerful impact. At that moment, an unknown amount of tens of millions of houses were swung out. The power he gained by burning his life condensed into a red unicorn. Roar. A roar shook the heavens and the earth. The shockwave spread out in all directions, and a large crater with a diameter of 10,000 meters instantly appeared on the ground. Ninjas who couldn't dodge were involved and died tragically one after another, leaving no ashes behind. The luckier ones were blown away by the shockwave and fell to the ground seriously injured. In an instant, the red unicorn arrived in front of Ye Huo. The purple whisker instantly shattered. All the ninjas held their breath and opened their eyes wide. Is this the ultimate secret of taijutsu? Guy, have you far surpassed me? Kakashi was shocked. This time, Uchiha's brat should be dead. Onoki flew tens of thousands of meters away, far away from the battlefield. When this battle is over, Sand Shinobi will also study taijutsu. Luo Sha made a sand shield and stood in front of the shockwave to protect the ninja coalition behind him. Under such a horrific attack, no one thought Ye Huo could survive. To Chapter 96 Paths Immortal Technique? Meteorite falling from the sky, 2/6. The purple 6-path scepter appears in Ye Huo's left palm. The scepter waved and hit the bloody night guy on the head. Ye Guy was instantly thrown out and hit the sea in the distance. Boom! An explosion came from far away, then strong winds of more than 10 levels hit. Countless ninjas were swept into the sky by the strong wind. A heavy downpour fell. Tens of thousands of ninjas suddenly became drowned rats. Ye Huo's figure floated down slowly, falling into a deep pit with a diameter of 10,000 meters. The raindrops fell on Guy's iron-like body, making a sizzling sound and causing a mist to rise. Ye Huo pressed his palm on Guy's heart, and a large amount of chakra poured into it. Cast by the power of Sage of Six Paths, Ninja Art, Meiotic Regeneration, Guy's life is quickly restored. After a while, Guy's injuries were mostly recovered, and the molten cracks on his skin were gradually disappearing. Guy's pupils converged and he looked at Ye Huo and said, "Why, save me." Ye Huo said, "You are a strong man that I respect, and I need you to continue the lineage of physical skills." After saying that, Ye Huo flew high into the sky, looked down at the ninja alliance of the 5 major countries and said, "Those who follow me will live, and those who go against me will die. Now, I will give you a chance to choose. Put down your weapons and stand on the side of Dragon City. I will spare your life. Anyone who dares to resist will be killed without mercy." Ye Huo's powerful chakra burst out, and under the terrifying force, a ninja finally walked 350 towards Dragon City. If there is one, there will be a second and a third. In the blink of an eye, there will be hundreds of ninjas heading towards Dragon City. This is not a fight to the death. Ye Huo has given them a way to survive. Ordinary ninjas don't want to fight. Now that Ye Huo is overwhelming the 5 major countries, ordinary ninjas like them will naturally fall to Ye Huo. They also longed for the peace that Ye Huo said would unite the ninja world. Few people who have experienced the cruelty of war like to fight. "What are you doing? Don't believe him, come back to me," a Jonin from the Kingdom of Thunder shouted. But the next moment, this Jonin's body suddenly exploded and turned into a pool of flesh and blood. Ye Huo's voice sounded again, "I only give you half an hour. If you haven't stood under the Dragon City for half an hour, that's what happened to the Thunder Ninja just now." As soon as these words came out, thousands of ninjas suddenly moved in the direction of Dragon City like a tide. Ye Huo glanced around and saw where any ninja dared to stop him. At this time, the 6 Jinchuriki in Dragon City stood up intact. Behind them are the Uchiha tribesmen, more than 30 Uchiha, 30 pairs of Eternal Mangekyo, and 10 Sunengu that are hundreds of meters high. Further on, each of the Dragon City ninjas carries the tailed beast chakra, all of them are Jinchuriki, all are quasi-shadow powerful, and the worst ones are all elite Jonin. Bai advised brother, surrender. The shadows of the 5 major nations were deeply shocked by the strength of Dragon City. They don't understand how there are so many Mangekyo Sharingan. How could there be such a Jinchuriki? Wang finally knew why Ye Huo had such confidence. Faced with such powerful force, failure to surrender will lead to death. Terumi Mei sighed, Mist Ninja, surrender. At this moment, she finally understood why Ye Mie let her go that day. In Ye Huo's eyes, her power is too insignificant. Even the power of the entire ninja world was insignificant in front of him. Konoha, surrender. Minato's decision was not difficult. Ye Huo was originally from the land of fire, and he once wanted Ye Huo to succeed him, but now it is just ahead of schedule. Fourth Raikage sighed, looked at Ye Huo and said, we surrender, can you guarantee our safety? Ye Huo said, if I want to take your lives, who of you can stop me? Raikage was speechless. From the moment Ye Huo blasted Ye Guy with his stick, they knew that the entire ninja coalition was no match for Ye Huo. What he said sounded like an idiot. Luo Sha and Onoki no longer persisted, surrendered one after another, and led the ninja coalition to the Dragon City. However, what is surprising is that the shadows of the 5 major countries have all been cast on them, and there are actually 3,000 people in the coalition standing on the other side. Ye Huo squinted his eyes and looked at the 3,000 ninjas, with his palms raised high. Suddenly, the color of the sky and the earth changed, the wind and clouds surged, the sky darkened, muffled thunder rolled, and lightning flashed. 6 Paths Shienjutsu lightning-style Kirin group. In an instant, a 100-meter-sized lightning unicorn fell from the sky and annihilated 3,000 ninjas in an instant. Rumble. Terrifying explosions occurred one after another. 3,000 ninjas died tragically on the spot instantly. The eyelids of the ninjas from the 5 major countries jumped wildly and the corners of their mouths twitched wildly. What kind of lightning-style ninjutsu is this? Too powerful, too cruel. With just one strike, 3,000 ninjas will be killed. Fortunately, we are here. If we were still standing there, we would have ended up like them. By the way, even Ying surrendered, why didn't they surrender? This question arose in everyone's mind at the same time. Then the next moment, they saw a surprising scene. Trees sprouted from those dead ninjas. That piece of scorched earth suddenly turned into a forest. These 3,000 ninjas are all transformed from white Zetsu. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at an open space in the distance. Oops, I've been discovered. A black shadow quickly ran towards the distance. Super powerful Rasengan. Ye Huo gathered a purple-black Rasengan with a diameter of 500 meters in his palm and threw it towards the black figure. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly flew over at a high speed, opened his palm, and absorbed Ye Huo's Rasengan. Ye Huo stared slightly and looked at that person. Then he saw the man with Rinnegan eyes, a scepter in his hand, and a truth-seeking ball floating behind his back. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly, and the person in front of him turned out to be 6 Paths Madara. Why did he come out so early? The two looked at each other in the air, and Madara chuckled. Uchiha Ye Huo, I didn't expect that Uchiha would have an alien like you. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly, Obito was killed by you? Madara's pupils shrank slightly and she said with a smile, it seems that you know far more than I imagined, and your eyes are far beyond my imagination. But, unfortunately, it all ends here. As soon as Madara finished speaking, she clasped her hands together and formed a seal. The blue chakra condenses into a 100-meter-high double-sided whisker. The double-faced bearded man formed seals with his 4 left hands at the same time, and the powerful chakra poured into the void crazily. In an instant, the world suddenly darkened. Ye Huo looked up and saw an extremely huge meteorite falling from the sky. 6 Paths Fairy Magic Meteorite falls from the sky. Chapter 91. Killing 6 Paths Madara, 3/6. If you haven't really experienced it, you will never be able to feel the power of that kind of power. Huge meteorites covered the sky. The whole world seemed to dim suddenly. Tens of thousands of ninjas looked up. A huge meteorite with a diameter of tens of thousands of meters hit from above. Ku. Nuyalu, Ba. Gayalu, why are they some monsters? Killer Bee's cheeks were dripping with sweat, and his tone of voice changed. Baga, how come you have such terrifying power? You're lying, meteorite, such a big meteorite? It's over, I'm dead this time. Before the huge meteorite fell, the roar caused by friction in the air had already reached the ears of tens of thousands of ninjas. An unprecedented invisible pressure hangs over the heads of tens of thousands of ninjas. Everyone's hearts are filled with despair. Suddenly, Onoki roared, Uchiha brat, if you can protect the ninjas of the 5 kingdoms from this meteorite, we will respect you as the shadow of the 5 kingdoms. As soon as these words came out, countless pairs of eyes turned to Ye Huo in midair. There was a glimmer of hope in those dead eyes. I don't know who shouted first, the immortal of ninja, Uchiha is destroyed. The second person followed closely and called, the immortal of ninja, Uchiha Ye Huo. Then there is the third person, Nin Shion, Ye Huo. The fourth person, Nin Shion, Ye Huo, Ye Huo. The fifth. The 50th. The 500th. The 5,000. Everyone present was shouting loudly, Atxxx. Atx. Atx. Countless ninjas were shouting Ye Huo's name. Ye Huo heard the roar of the mountains and the tsunami, but his heart didn't waver at all. At this moment, he just wanted to see how strong Six Paths Madara was. Ye Huo put his hands together, and a huge chakra suddenly erupted from his body. A 10,000-meter wooden giant quickly condensed into shape. Behind the wooden golem are thousands of wooden arms. Six Paths Senju Wood-style Superpower Senju Shinsu. A purple-black arm suddenly waved, and its fist hit the meteorite hard. Boom! There was a loud noise, and the fist instantly penetrated the meteorite. Following hundreds of punches, the entire meteorite was blasted into powder and rubble and fell from midair. The ninjas of Rock Shinobi Village used defensive ninjutsu to block the rubble. Tens of thousands of ninjas were safe and sound, and an even more enthusiastic boil broke out. All the ninjas were screaming Ye Huo's name heartbreakingly. They seemed to have forgotten. The purpose of their trip was to destroy Longsheng and capture Ye Huo. Ye Huo looked at Six Paths Madara. You shouldn't only have this strength. Six Paths Madara grinned. I didn't expect you to be able to use a wood style that was more powerful than Hashirama, so I had to use all my strength, Uchiha Madara. Six Paths Madara quickly formed seals with her hands, and immediately divided into 25 clones. Each of the 25 clones used the semi-complete Zuzo Nengu. 25 giants with a height of 100 meters rushed towards Ye Huo. Six Paths Madara crossed her arms across her chest and smiled coldly. Ye Huo, I am being blamed for bullying others. After all, you are Uchiha Ye Huo, a man revered as the immortal of ninjas. Ye Huo quickly connected with both hands and instantly released 100 powerful shadow clone. In an instant, 100 powerful shadow clone displayed the complete form of Susanoo. Each branch is more than 500 meters high, wearing heavy armor and holding a sword. Ye Huo's shadow clone is more powerful than his original body. Each shadow clone only used one sword, killing 25 clones of Six Paths Madara in an instant. Six Paths Madara's face changed drastically, and she looked at Ye Huo in shock. How can your clone appear as a complete body? Ye Huo spread his hands and said with a smile, Madara, you are the big boss after all, don't blame me for bullying the few. In an instant, 100 complete bodies rushed towards Six Paths Madara. Six Paths Madara's expression suddenly became extremely solemn. He quickly formed seals with his hands and slammed towards the ground. 10 tails, come out. There was a loud noise and countless clouds of smoke and dust. 10 gray tails were suddenly pulled out from the smoke, and each of them hid 10 clones of Ye Huo. Ye Huo's clone grabbed 10 tails, swung it hard, pulled out the huge body of 10 tails, and threw it into the sea in the distance. Above 10 tails' head, Six Paths Madara's eyes finally showed a look of shock. How is it possible? Even 10 tails is not his opponent. Six Paths Madara and 10 tails fell hard into the sea. Please give me flowers. A black shadow emerged from Six Paths Madara's feet. Only infinite Tsukuyomi can subdue him now. We can't wait any longer. Madara nodded, formed seals with her hands again, and 10 tails' form began to change rapidly, turning into a sacred tree in an instant. At the top of the sacred tree, it began to grow rapidly, and countless fibrous roots extended towards the entire ninja continent like giant pythons. Not long after, a tree root approached Ye Huo and wrapped around Ye Mie. Ye Huo wielded the true god grass pheasant sword to cut off the tree roots. But more roots came around. Ye Huo avoided these tree roots and flew towards the main body of the sacred tree. The sacred tree rushed into the tens of thousands of ninja coalition forces in an instant, absorbing Jinchuriki's and ninjas' chakra. Dragon City is basically Jinchuriki, and it was quickly absorbed, and the power of the sacred tree was replenished at a terrifying speed. The flower bone at the top bloomed quickly, and Six Paths Madara opened the forehead protector on the top of her head. A 9 Magatama Rinnegan appears between his eyebrows. His hands quickly formed seals, and in an instant, the sunlight dimmed instantly, and the moonlight began to brighten and turn red. Finally, an extremely huge 9 Magatama Rinnegan appeared on the moonlight. Ye Huo suddenly felt an extremely huge force coming out of the moonlight. Ye Huo immediately yelled, Madara, don't use infinite Tsukuyomi. Black Zetsu is not your will, don't be fooled. However, it was already too late. The sacred tree gives Six Paths Madara its powerful chakra. The Six Paths Madara seal is completed. Massive amounts of chakra condense into a strange energy that illuminates the entire ninja world with the help of the light of the moon. In an instant, the eyes of the entire ninja world, whether they were ordinary people or powerful ninjas, turned into Rinnegan's gaze, and the whole person was mentally sluggish and fell into infinite reincarnation. In the entire ninja world, Ye Huo was the only one who was not affected. Ye Huo secretly yelled that he was careless if he had known that he could kill 10 tails with one sword. However, it seems that it is not too late. Ye Huo rushed towards Six Paths Madara in an instant. Six Paths Madara suddenly flew out of a black ball of light, floating above Ye Huo's head. A strong suction force suddenly came, blocking Ye Huo's way. Idiot! Ye Huo yelled, that black Zetsu is not your will. Almost at the same time, an arm suddenly penetrated Six Paths Madara's heart. Chapter 92. Rebuilding the moon and sealing Kaguya 4/6. This is a big chapter, it broke out today. Damn it, Black Zetsu, you. Six Paths Madara just said this, his body formed a seal uncontrollably. Madara, goodbye. The next moment, Madara's body suddenly expanded. The moon in the void suddenly shattered, countless rocks and earth fell downwards. At the same time, a large amount of chakra fell from the sky and was injected into Six Paths Madara's body. At this time, Ye Huo used Flying Thunder God, teleported behind Six Paths Madara, and chopped off Six Paths Madara's head. In an instant, countless gray hair swept towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo swung the blade and cut off the hair, but more hair strands came like a tide. The true god grass pheasant sword in Ye Huo's palm bloomed with infinite thunder. After piercing through the gray hair, he finally cut through the hair and struck Madara on the neck. A sharp and shrill cry sounded. It was a woman's scream. Almost at the same time, a black space door appeared, and the figure disappeared immediately. This is Kaguya's space ninjutsu Yomi Hirazan? Just when Ye Huo thought of this, a black space door suddenly appeared above his head. Ye Huo instantly activated Shuchuo's ability without even thinking about it. The purple field instantly enveloped the space with a radius of 300 meters. Kaguya just leaned out half of the door from the black space. The chakra in her body instantly lost control. Almost at that moment, Ye Huo activated Flying Thunder God and reached Kaguya's head. The true god Kusanagi's sword in his palm slashed at Kaguya's head. Mother! Black Zetsu jumped out of Kaguya's sleeves and blocked Ye 940 Fire's attack with his own body. The thunder of the true god grass pheasant sword was powerful, and Black Zetsu was cut in two and died an untimely death. In that short period of time, Kaguya left the realm with her powerful power. Damn! Kaguya appeared in the sky above Ye Huo, her long gray hair flowing like a waterfall, and her empty white eyes staring at Ye Huo, full of resentment. Drops of blood flowed from his neck, but the next moment, his wound healed. The powerful and terrifying chakra fully blooms. Ye Huo killed Black Zetsu with one sword strike. Black blood dripped from the tip of the divine sword. Black Zetsu turned into a puddle of mud and fell to the ground. Kaguya Zung looked at Ye Huo with hatred, the powerful chakra in his body gathered in his fist. With his fist as the center, countless airwaves rippled out. Its terrifying power is even more powerful than the Night Guy used after opening the 8 Gate. 80 God's airstrike. Kaguya roared, and the chakra condensed into ultimate burst out with super power, compressing the air to form countless powerful fists, which instantly enveloped Ye Huo. Boom boom boom. There were roars in the sky, it's like a heavenly drum sounding. Countless powerful fists seemed to want to smash through the sky. Countless turbulence surges. The sacred trees below were swayed left and right by the residual power of this powerful force. Tens of thousands of ninjas trapped in infinite Tsukuyomi were blown away. In an instant, Yi Mie displayed his most powerful force. Six Paths Sage Art Wood Style Senju Shinsu. The Six Paths immortal body must be left to the right. In an instant, extremely terrifying chakra erupted from Ye Huo's body. The power of the 270-tailed beasts absorbed by 10 tails in his body exploded instantly. At that moment, a Senju wooden golem tens of thousands of meters tall appeared. At the same time, Senju wooden golem's body surface is covered by purple-black Zuzo armor. The hundredfold power of Senju and Uchiha, plus the energy of 270-tailed beasts, completed the unified combination. The wood-style fist wrapped around Suzuo slammed into Kaguya's Yayagami air attack. The two powerful forces suddenly met in midair, countless strength burst out. The blast hit the sacred tree on the ground, and the sacred tree immediately penetrated. The explosion hit the ocean, and a huge vortex suddenly appeared in the ocean, setting off huge waves. When it hit the ground, it immediately created a huge pit that was thousands of meters deep. In an instant, the entire land became a mess. I don't know how many living beings died under this terrifying residual power. Kaguya is incredibly powerful, but Ye Huo's power is even more terrifying. Those countless fists shattered the Yasugami air attack and hit Kaguya-ji's body hard. Kaguya-ji let out a scream again and her body was thrown tens of thousands of meters away. A door to dark space appeared and disappeared without a trace. Ye Huo frowned. Kaguya's ability is really annoying. Almost at the same time, there was an extremely slight fluctuation behind Ye Huo. Ye Huo immediately controlled Senju to attack and kill him. Almost at the same time, two gray bone spurs hit the Senju wooden house. In an instant, the Senju wooden fist instantly turned gray, and then turned into ashes. The wooden giants tens of thousands of meters high also turned into flying ashes. As this, killing the ashes together, Ye Huo's expression changed. He had 100 times the blood of the Senju and Uchiha clans plus 270-tailed beast chakras. The Senju Shinsu and Susanoo, who had condensed them, disappeared just like that. What a terrifying magical skill. Ye Huo frequently used Flying Thunder God, constantly dodging Kaguya-ji's holy ashes. At the same time, looking for an opportunity, the tip of the true god Kusanagi sword turned against Kaguya Hime's heart. Extend. The true form of the Kusanagi sword instantly extended 10,000 meters, and Kaguya Hime was entangled in her hair. Ye Huo instantly abandoned the true god grass pheasant sword. Super powerful multi-shadow clone. In an instant, 100 shadow clone appeared in the void. Each shadow clone was 3 times as powerful as Ye Huo. 6 paths immortal magic superpower Rasengan. In an instant, countless terrifying Rasengans with a diameter of 500 meters rushed towards Kaguya without fear of death. Kaguya wanted to activate the space ninjutsu, but the chakra in her body was in chaos again. This is Ye Huo's pupil technique. At this critical moment, 100 clones have arrived in front of Kaguya-ji. Kaguya-ji's long hair turned into sharp white thorns, which instantly pierced 100 Ye Huo's clones. Kaguya-ji was slightly relieved, but at that moment, 2 Ye Huo suddenly appeared on both sides of Kaguya-ji. 2 palms touched Kaguya-ji's body at the same time. 6 paths immortal magic yin-yang superpower planetary devastation. In an instant, a black ball of light emerged from Kaguya-ji's body, attracting Kaguya-ji, and quickly flew towards the void. It stopped at the place where the moon originally disappeared. The earth and rocks that were still falling began to slow down and flew towards the void instead. In Ye Huo's gaze, a moon slowly condensed into shape. This moon is much larger than before, and its sealing power is 100 times stronger. Ye Huo obtained the 9 Magatama Rinnegan, which is deriving various magical abilities every moment. 6 paths immortal magic yin-yang superpower planetary devastation is what he just got. Ye Huo breathed a sigh of relief. Kaguya is finally sealed. However, just after Ye Huo sealed Kaguya again, ding! The Hokage world mission has been completed. Close black lens bracket. This mission is rated SSSSS level. Close black lens bracket. Host can choose an ability to be reincarnated into the next world. Close black lens bracket. The system starts to upgrade. The sound of the system came immediately. Ye Huo was stunned. What's the meaning? What does Hokage world quest completion mean? Reincarnated into another world? I haven't spent enough time in the Hokage world. Ding. Choose countdown. 10, 9, 8. Ye Huo quickly calmed down and said, I choose to take Rinnegan away. As the voice fell, Ye Huo's figure instantly disappeared from the Hokage world. Just leave a legend for the ninja world. Ye Huo travels through time and space. His body has dissipated, only a pair of Rinnegan carry his spirit. Arriving in the sky above an unknown world. Looking from top to bottom, there is seawater everywhere. The system automatically finds the target, flying near an island. General Marine, who was wearing a great cloak of justice, was lying on a woman's belly. The woman has a big belly and is obviously pregnant. General Marine's face was full of smiles. The woman's face is also full of tenderness. This is a happy family of 3, and at that moment, a ray of light shot into the woman's abdomen. 18 years later, Naval Headquarters, Marineford. Marshal's office. Marshal Sengoku sat at the head of the table. The first one on the left is Vice Admiral Garp, followed by he and other senior generals. The first one on the right is empty. 3, Admiral Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji can only start from second place and move to the back. The expressions of the 3 admirals were all calm and natural. Obviously there's nothing dissatisfied with this row of seats. The 2 Marines brought some snacks and retreated. The new Marine and the veteran whispered. Brother, why is the first seat on the right still vacant? Why doesn't 3rd Admiral sit there? Of course it's because they don't deserve it. Is there anyone in Naval Headquarters who is more powerful than the 3 admirals? Certainly. Who? Ye Huo Vice Admiral. Ye Huo Vice Admiral. No wonder, I have heard of Ye Huo Vice Admiral a long time ago. It is said that he is the owner of the Eye Fruit. He once violently tortured Sakazuki Admiral, and his combat power is even more terrifying. Could these be all really? Vice Admiral is really more powerful than Admiral? Young man, the Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters is in deep water. You can't control it. If you do more, you will. The veteran's words stopped abruptly, his body straightened suddenly, and he saluted with his right hand. I have met Vice Admiral. A tall figure walked over. The fluffy chicken nest-like hair covered his eyes and the upper half of his face. Some of the oily faces look unshaven, and the specific features cannot be clearly seen. But it can be seen from the carved face that he definitely looks like a heavenly master. The great cloak of justice on his body is wrinkled. There are also a few holes burned by soot. Vice Admiral covered his mouth and yawned widely, looking like he was still awake as he walked past the 2 soldiers. For a moment, the recruit looked disdainful and whispered, Brother, which Vice Admiral is this? He's so sloppy. The veteran looked solemn. He is Ye Huo Vice Admiral. Recruit sad face. Ye Huo has lived in the pirate world for 18 years now. He didn't want to repeat the life of fighting and killing. So these 18 years have been leisurely and comfortable. But under the influence of the system, even though he didn't work hard at all, he was sent to the military academy and promoted all the way, reaching the position of Vice Admiral at the age of only 18. and was refused promotion to admiral several times. Ye Huo opened the door and walked in carelessly. Sitting in front of Akainu, Sengoku saw that everyone had arrived and started the meeting. Meeting the content mainly revolves around what to do with Ace. Ye Huo is too lazy to listen to this, he is practicing observation Haki. When you come to the pirate world, if you don't know Haki, you will be embarrassed to go out and meet people. Ye Huo has been practicing Haki for so many years. Until the past month, even if he closed his eyes, he could vaguely see the world around him. However, the world is gray. Hazy. Ye Huo closed his eyes tightly. Suddenly, everything in the room became clear and spread rapidly in all directions. At that moment, the system's voice sounded. Ding, congratulations to host for learning observation Haki. 10,000 times reward trigger. 1. Super wide observation Haki. 2. Ultra clear observation Haki. Ye Huo's system breaks through. The 100-fold reward has also become a 10,000-fold reward. Ye Huo doesn't have the urgent choice of 5.8. Check the difference between the two carefully. The advantage of ultra-wide observation Haki is naturally its wide range. The detection radius can reach a spherical range of 10,000 meters. The range is extremely wide, but its shortcomings are also obvious. It is still a bit hazy. You are separated by a layer. Thin white gauze. The shortcomings of ultra-clear observation Haki are not considered shortcomings. The detection radius is 1,000 meters, which is enough, and the advantage is that it is extremely clear. Ye Huo thought for a moment and said directly, I choose ultra-clear observation Haki. The next moment, Ye Huo suddenly felt strange energy coming into his body from all directions. His perception became crystal clear. He didn't open his eyes, but everything in the conference room appeared clearly in his mind. Clearer than what the eye can see. At the same time the perception extends outward. Walls cannot hinder his perception at all. Perception extends to 1,000 meters away. He saw two ants fighting, and one of them had a hair bitten off. I heard someone talking about me. Ye Huo felt happy that his choice was indeed the right one. Ye Huo continued to explore, and a powerful aura entered his perception in Marineford Square. This man was carrying a black knife behind his back, and he was bursting with infinite killing intent. Almost at that moment, this man seemed to sense something. Suddenly he looked in the direction of Ye Huo. Ye Huo instantly restrained his senses, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He is indeed the world's best swordsman, and he can actually detect his own senses. The man looked in the direction of the Marineford headquarters office, his eagle eyes flashing with confusion. Is it an illusion? No, it's not an illusion. 0 Chapter 93 Defeating the World's Greatest Swordsman, 5/6. Today's outbreak is a big chapter. The purpose of Mihawk coming here is to meet two people. One is Marine's rising star, Vice Admiral Ye Huo. The other one is Whitebeard, then Marine Plaza. The two stood 100 meters apart. Ye Huo scratched his head and said helplessly, why do you have to fight me? Mihawk held the handle of the knife with both hands, raised the black knife, and pointed the tip of the sword straight at the sky. Sharp eyes stared at Ye Huo. Ye Huo, Vice Admiral, we are both strong men. If two strong men meet and don't fight, don't you think it will be a regret in life? No, I don't think so. I think it would be nice for everyone to sit down and drink tea, enjoy the flowers, and see how beautiful the women are. Ye Huo shrugged, looking very lazy. Mihawk's frown deepened. Ye Huo's laziness seems to him to be a disregard for himself. Mihawk's eyes suddenly became sharp. The black knife slashed down in an instant. 100-meter-long blue sword beam shot out from the black sword. Cutting open the ground, he was instantly in front of Ye Huo. 3 circles suddenly appeared in Ye Huo's eyes, a big circle and a small circle, and there were 3 Tomoe in every 12 circles. Ye Huo turned on the 9 Magatama Rinnegan and completely copied every movement of Mihawk's body. Ding! Congratulations to host, you got a new factory. 1,000 times reward is triggered. 1. Super multiple slashes. 10,000 slashes with a length of 100 meters at a time, with a range of 1,000 meters. 2. Powerful slash. A slash with a length of 1 kilometer at a time, with a range of 100,000 meters. I choose super power slash. Ye Huo has always avoided bells and whistles. Pursue a crisp fatal blow. At this moment, a lot of information about sword slash poured into Ye Huo's mind. At the same time, Ye Huo's muscles also underwent subtle changes. A feeling suddenly arose in Ye Huo's heart. He struck out with his own sword. Definitely enough to cut through mountains and rivers. Ye Huo raised his right arm, raised his right hand, and pointed it into a sword. Ye Huo suddenly waved his right hand down. A powerful and terrifying force suddenly burst out from Ye Huo's finger sword. The tip of the finger sword shoots out a half-moon-shaped emission sword slash. At first, the half-moon was only a few feet in size. But in the blink of an eye, its height has reached a terrifying 1,000 meters. The terrifying sword energy spread across the world. Carrying the power to kill everything, the sword slash instantly chopped Hawkeye into pieces. Cut it close to Hawkeye's cheek, cut open Marineford's square. Split the huge bay. The sword slashed towards the distance. A huge strait of several hundred meters and 100,000 meters long was cut out on the sea. The sea water churned and made a huge roar. The whole of Marineford was shaking slightly. What happened? Is there an earthquake or a tsunami? No, we didn't see any warning. 2 drops of sweat appeared on Hawkeye's forehead. At that moment, he felt death coming. If not for the last moment, Ye Huo avoided him. At this moment, his body had been broken into 2 parts. Looking sideways slightly, he saw the terrifying traces on the square that extended to 100,000 meters to the sea. Then he looked at the cracks of about 1,000 meters that he had caused. There is no comparison at all. And these are just the scars caused by the slashes performed by the opponent without using a sword at all. If he had a sword in his hand, Hawkeye took a deep breath, put the black knife behind his back, looked at Ye Huo and said, "Your strength shocked me, maybe only the strongest man on the sea is worthy of being your opponent. Ye Huo Vice Admiral, Mihawk Kong respects you as the world's greatest swordsman. I will regard you as my lifelong goal in the art of swordsmanship. I will look to you for your continued efforts. One day, I will come in front of you again, and then defeat you." Hawkeye said with great solemnity. However, Ye Huo waved and left. The meeting continues. The bears from Shichibukai, Hancock, Don Quixote Doflamingo and Gecko Moria have also arrived. Sengoku has made the most rigorous deployment. The entire marine is running rapidly like a tireless machine. Battleships kept going back and forth between Marineford and the 4 seas. Teams of powerful marines were constantly mobilized to Marineford. The powerful vice admiral distributed in various marine branches was also transferred back. The vice admirals who have been transferred back are Doberman, Ghost Spider, Volcano Burn, Stallo Berry Sea, Flying Squirrel, Gumir, Dalmatia, Stirs, Rakvar, Ronsa, etc. Rear Admiral Level 1s include Hina, Smoker, Dog Industry, Luo Liang, Shoes, Gu Ruiki, etc. There are countless Marines at the Captain and Lieutenant Commander levels. Ordinary Marines are Marine elites mobilized from all over the world. The total number reached 100,000. Cannons were rolled out from the warehouse and filled every port of Marineford. Frames of shells were pushed out and placed next to the fort. Hundreds of battleships are arranged in an arc formation and scattered throughout Marineford to confuse the spies of the Whitebeard pirates. The war has not yet come, but Marineford is already filled with invisible smoke. A depressing and tense atmosphere filled the entire Marine 120 Fando. The Whitebeard pirates are known as the strongest pirate group on the sea. There are 1,600 people in this group alone, divided into 16 teams. Each team has a strong man with a strength of Vice Admiral or above as the captain. In particular, Phoenix Marco has Admiral level strength, and Diamond Josie and Foil Beasta are also extremely close to Admiral. It also has 43 New World affiliated pirate groups. There are more than 1,000 people in each group. The total number of members of the Whitebeard pirates has probably exceeded 40,000, approaching 50,000. Although the number is smaller than Marine, each one is the elite among the elite. The Whitebeard pirates are the overlords of the sea. And as the leader of this overlord, Whitebeard is also known as the strongest man on the sea. Its power far exceeds that of Admiral, faced with such a powerful force. World government Marine dare not show any carelessness or contempt. Time finally came to the day of Ace's execution. Every inch of Marineford is anchored by the feet of a pair of strong Marine soldiers. Rows of weapons were slung on their shoulders. An officer walked by, straightened Marine's collar, and then said loudly, "Marine will win." The soldiers below shouted loudly, "Marine will win, Marine will win." Waves of shouts came and went, echoed throughout Marineford. Chapter 94. A sword smashes Diamond Josie's diamond, 6/6. Ye Huo sat under the execution platform, side by side with the 3 admirals. Looking below, there are 100,000 elite Marines fighting. But there are more Marines providing logistical supplies. The place is densely packed with people like an ant formation. Hundreds of thousands of Marines filled the square. At this moment, a Marine hurried over and said loudly, "The Marshal is in trouble." The door of justice suddenly opened, and the power room cannot be contacted. "What did you say?" Sengoku looked shocked, but said in his heart, "Whitebeard, you are indeed here." Close black lens bracket Sengoku looked towards the sea in the distance. There was silence all around, unprecedented silence. Marines suddenly became nervous. Suddenly, a strong wind blew from the sea. "There is mist coming over." Marine became nervous again and stared in the direction of the fog. "Then you can see that there is blackness emerging in the attribute energy." The next moment, strong winds swept through, the fog dissipated, and 43 Whitebeard pirate battleships appeared on the opposite side of the sea. Whitebeard pirates. It's the Whitebeard pirates. The alarm sounds. Turn the muzzle. Push the cannonball, fast, fast, fast. One by one, the warships adjusted their guns and aimed them at the 43 warships. However, these 43 warships did not move rashly. The next moment, a large number of bubbles suddenly emerged from the calm water in the bay. 3 warships emerged from the bottom of the water. Floating on the water. Dang dang, he caught the Moby Dick at the front. On the deck, A tall man wearing a large cloak and holding an oversized moon knife walked onto the deck and looked towards the execution platform. La la la. Whitebeard's loud laughter echoed throughout the square. Sengoku, we haven't seen each other for decades, how is my precious son? Sengoku snorted and waved his hand. On the shore of the bay, thousands of cannons emerged, aiming at Whitebeard's 3 pirate ships. Whitebeard glanced at Ace, thrust the sword aside, and clenched his fists in front of his chest. Whitebeard shouted loudly and punched the space on both sides with both fists. Boom. A crisp crackling sound came. Cracks suddenly appeared in the space. The cracks quickly extended to both sides, and huge waves arose on the sea surface. The waves rolled up and were hundreds of meters high in the blink of an eye. Endless waves roll in from the east and west sides of Marineford. The whole of Marineford fell under the shadow of the huge waves. The sound of the tsunami shook the heaven and earth. The whole of Marineford was shaking. Waves, this is Shockfruit's ability. Is this the strength of the strongest man on the sea? Run away, run away. Sengoku frowned and shouted, Aokiji. Aokiji suddenly jumped up from his seat and stretched his hands to the east and west. Ice Age. 2 ice spears shot out from Aokiji's hands, hitting the waves on both sides. The water began to freeze quickly, and eventually turned into 2 icebergs. Aokiji, you little brat, Whitebeard grinned, revealing a dense white fang, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. 4 thorn spear. Aokiji shouted again. 4 spears of ice were fired at Whitebeard. Whitebeard clenched his right fist and slammed it into the space in front of him. The ice spear fell into the sea. The sea instantly froze and turned into land. Great, the water is frozen. 27. We have a foothold, let's rush over and save Ace. Come on, in the bay, the pirates in the 3 pirate ships jumped out and ran towards the square. Whitebeard was a little confused. Is this helping me? Sengoku's eyebrows twitched. Aokiji's acting skills are not up to par. This will let the world government see that you are acting. Enough for you to drink a pot, let me show you what acting is. Sengoku yelled, Ye Huo, what are you waiting for? Hey, it's really troublesome. A sigh resounded throughout the square. Ye Huo stood up slowly, rubbed his face, parted the hair in front of his eyes, looked at Whitebeard and said solemnly, Whitebeard, how dare you come forward? You are extremely arrogant to come to rob the execution ground, and I, Ye Huo, will definitely keep you in Marineford today. Sengoku nodded. The little bastard has a good reputation. That's how it should be. Oola la la la. Whitebeard laughed loudly, the cold light in his eyes almost solidified. Ye Huo kid, you are so arrogant. Ye Huo waved his hand, and a sword energy dozens of meters high broke through the ice and slashed towards Whitebeard. At that moment, a figure shot over and blocked the sword slash. A roar shook the heavens and the earth. The terrifying slash flew into the air in an instant. Ye Huo's slash was easily blocked. Sengoku's mouth twitched. This little bastard shouted quite loudly, but they are really worse than Aokiji. I remember not long ago, in the battle with Hokage, the slash he made was 1,000 meters high. It's only less than 100 meters away now. That's not how you release the water, right? It's a shame that I complimented you on your acting skills just now. Ye Huo didn't feel that his acting skills were poor at all. He thinks he can already win an Oscar. Ye Huo imitated Kizaru's look and said in a weird manner, Hey, the captains of the Whitebeard pirates are all monsters. They're so scary. Ye Huo had a scared expression on his face. Kizaru picked his nostrils and was a little dissatisfied with Ye Huo. You said my lines. What did I say? Chaozi grinned when he heard this. What Marines hope Vice Admiral? What's more powerful than Admiral? Nothing more than that. Josie roared angrily, bent his legs slightly, and jerked off. Boom. The ice beneath my feet instantly shattered. Chaozi's figure hit Ye Huo like a cannonball. Ye Huo caught a glimpse of a figure heading towards him. He slashed out with his sword and hit Josie in the chest. This sword used a little force. Boom. The diamond on Josie's body completely shattered instantly. A terrifying sword wound instantly appeared on his chest. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes suddenly lost their luster. The body flew backwards like a cannonball again. Smashed hard into the ice, the pirate was stunned. Each eyeball almost popped out of its socket. How is this possible? How is this possible? The diamond on the third team's, Li Qian's, Captain Diamond Josie's body can't be cut open even by Armament Haki's famous sword. How could it be cut open by a mere vice admiral with a single sword? Team leader, Captain Jaws. Several pirates hurriedly ran over and helped Chaozi. He pinched the person and pressed his chest to rescue Chaozi. Josie gasped for air. Almost died. This Haki from Ye Huo is really scary. Well, that's decent. Sengoku nodded. Although it is acting, it must be presentable. This sword is barely enough. Ye Huo, your target is Whitebeard. Sengoku roared again, and Ye Huo also turned his attention to Whitebeard. In that moment, Garp, Aokiji, Kizaru, Akainu, Doflamingo, Hancock, Moria, etc. all looked at Ye Huo. They all want to see who is better, the legendary marine's hope or the strongest man on the sea. For the sake of justice, Whitebeard, I will take your life. Chapter 95. Susanoo vs. Shockfruit. Ye Huo slashed out with another sword. The 200-meter-high sword slashed at Whitebeard. Whitebeard narrowed his eyes slightly. Hey, what's so flashy? It's so annoying. A blue phoenix flew out and collided with the sword. After a moment, the sword slashes gradually dissipated, the blue light converged, and a person was revealed. At this moment, Marco had a huge sword wound on his body, which was terrifying. But the next moment, the injury disappeared completely. Ye Huo squinted slightly. Marco's fruit ability is really good. Ye Huo waved his sword casually. Release a series of slashes. Fight with Marco from the south to the north. Fight from the west to the east. Ye Huo had a fierce battle with Marco. After a moment, a burst of explosions came. Ye Huo looked sideways and saw that Ace had escaped. Akainu's murderous intention was strong, and at that moment he hit Ace's chest. Ace is about to die under Akainu's fist. Ye Huo slashed Marco 117 with one sword, and then struck Akainu with another sword. He has a good relationship with Garp, so he wants to save Ace. The sword energy spread vertically and horizontally, the ice cracked, and the powerful momentum directly pushed Ace and Luffy away. The terrifying sword slashed Akainu's arm. Akainu was shocked and hurriedly took back his right hand, looking angrily in the direction from which the sword was coming. Then, Ye Huo, with messy hair, wearing a marine justice cloak and holding a marine standard long sword in his hand, walked over. Before Sakazuki could speak, Ye Huo had already said, "Hey, you are indeed Fire Fist Ace, he can block and dodge my sword." Akainu's nose almost became angry. I cursed in my heart. Fart, that sword of yours was clearly aimed at me. If my hand shrinks a little, you will cut it off. You are clearly trying to save these two bastards. Sakazuki was about to curse Ye Huo. Ye Huo didn't give him a chance at all. Sakazuki Admiral, you are seriously injured, you should go aside and rest. From now on, the battlefield is handed over to me. Sakazuki was surprised for a while. Hasn't this little prince always disliked fighting and killing? Why is he so active now? However, he still retreated. Ye Huo looked at Ace and said slowly, "Fire Fist Ace, you rely too much on the Mera fruit. Without the power of the fruit, you are nothing. Without the protection of Whitebeard, you are nothing. In my eyes, you are a complete idiot and a waste." Shut up. Ace was furious, countless flames emerged from his right arm, and he slammed towards Ye Huo. Fire Fist. A roar of anger resounded through the square, and the huge fire fist, with terrifying heat and the power to melt ice and snow, hit Ye Huo hard. Ye Huo simply swung his sword, and the 100-meter-high black sword directly cut the fire fist into two pieces. In an instant, he slashed across Ace's shoulder, cutting off a large piece of flesh. Ace's eyes were filled with fear. The man in front of him was extremely strong. Better than Dad. Ace was horrified, and at this moment, a broad palm patted his shoulder. Ace, BCEG, turned around, and Yuhu, who was covered in scars, was already in front of him. "Oh Dad." Ace's voice was trembling. Whitebeard slowly opened his eyes, looked at Ace and said, "Ace, you can't be so willful anymore. Besides, you don't have to take it too seriously when it comes to the monster in front of you." "Dad, Ace wanted to say something else, but Whitebeard slowly said, "Lead everyone to retreat, leave this place to me." With that said, Whitebeard waved his hand and threw Ace directly 1,000 meters away. A gentle breeze blows through Marineford's square. The fight between Marine and pirates continues. There were screams everywhere. There was the sound of clashing swords everywhere. The artillery kept firing. The pirate pacifists released a stream of light bombs, attacking the pirates and Marines indiscriminately. In the fire, Uezi and Ye Huo stood 100 meters apart. No one was distracted at all. Whitebeard, the strongest man on the sea. Ye Huo is Marine's strongest combat power. Just standing there, the two of them could clearly feel the terrifying power emperor in each other's body. You la la la. Whitebeard laughed, his eyes flashing coldly, staring at Ye Huo closely. "Kid, if you can become a pirate, you will definitely become the king of the new world." Ye Huo smiled and stared at Whitebeard with burning eyes. "I have no interest in becoming a king." "Oh, what are you interested in?" Whitebeard narrowed his eyes slightly. The corners of Ye Huo's lips raised slightly. "I'm more interested in you. To be precise, I'm interested in shock fruit. I heard that as long as the owner of the fruit is killed, the fruit will condense again." "Whitebeard, I want your shock fruit." You la la la. Whitebeard laughed out loud again. "Kid, it depends on whether you have this ability." Whitebeard clenched the sword tightly, and a white light appeared on the tip of the sword. He exerted force with both arms and struck the sword in the direction of Ye Huo. The space in front of Ye Huo instantly shattered. An unstoppable force struck Ye Mie instantly. Ye Huo's eyes suddenly turned into Rinnegan. Endless purple-black energy condensed together, forming a purple-black giant that was thousands of meters high. Chapter 96. Complete victory over Whitebeard, the strongest man on the sea. Ye Huo finally activated Rinnegan's power again. he punched the space in front of him. At that moment, Susanoo collided hard with the power of shock fruit. The powerful impact swept in all directions from the center of the collision between the two. Bursts of roaring sounds continued to erupt. The terrifying conquerors Haki and Ye Huo's Suzuo continued to dress up. Finally, Whitebeard couldn't hold on any longer. Blood overflowed from the corners of his mouth and chest. Ye Huo sighed upon seeing this. Slightly increases Susanoo's strength. Directly interrupted Whitebeard's sword. A huge fist hit Whitebeard's body. The vitality in Whitebeard's body quickly dissipated. In the end, he died under Ye Huo's fist. The purple-black Susanoo gradually dissipated. Ye Huo fell to the ground. Whitebeard, who was lying on the ground, had his eyes wide open and seemed to have unfinished business. Ye Huo knelt down, gently touched Whitebeard's eyes and said slowly, "It is better to die in my hands than to die in Xiao Xiao's hands. Whitebeard, you can go in peace. I know that the unfinished business in your heart is Blackbeard. Don't worry, I will kill that evil villain for you." As soon as Ye Huo's voice fell, a strange energy flowed out of Whitebeard's body and condensed into a strange fruit in front of Ye Huo. Ye Huo grabbed the fruit. Almost at this moment, a powerful sword energy suddenly struck Ye Huo. Ye Huo observation Haki sensed it in advance, grabbed the shock fruit and dodged the blow. Almost at the same time, the system sound sounded. Ding! Congratulations to host for getting shock fruit. 1,000 times reward is triggered. 1. 10,000 shock fruit. 2. Super shock fruit. Ye Huo didn't even think twice and directly chose shock fruit. Then swallow it in one gulp. Almost at the same time, several more rays of sword light struck at Ye Huo. Ye Huo jumped aside and looked towards the direction of the attack. Nothing could be seen there, but Ye Huo's ultra-clear observation Haki easily sensed the other party's presence. And what surprised him was that there was more than one person everywhere, and they were all very powerful. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly and thought of one person for a moment. "Shiryu of Rain, Blackbeard, how long are you going to hide there?" Ye Huo's voice fell, and loud laughter came from in front of him. "Ha ha ha, I really didn't expect that my father was killed by you with just one punch. Uchiha Ye Huo, your strength really shocked me, ha ha, ha ha." The light shone, and a group of pirates appeared in front of them. The leader looked very rough, with fluffy black hair, a few teeth missing from his mouth, and various jewelry on his body. He looked like a real big pirate. Blackbeard. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly, and observation Haki completely let go. Boom. In that moment, Van Oka, the sniper in the Blackbeard pirates, suddenly fired a shot. Boom. Another dull sound. A huge purple-black skeleton appeared in front of Ye Huo, blocking the shot. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at Blackbeard and said, "Marshal Diki, your subordinates are a little rude. As the boss, shouldn't you teach them a lesson?" Ha ha ha. Blackbeard's little eyes flashed and he said calmly, "We are just cooperating and using each other, I can't control them." Ha ha ha. Uchiha Ye Huo, I thought only my dark fruit could absorb the ability of the second fruit, but I didn't expect that your eye fruit also has this ability. Ye Huo did not answer Blackbeard's words and continued the topic just now. "Since you don't know how to teach a lesson, let me teach you a lesson." Facing the Blackbeard pirates, he was not so polite. At that moment, Ye Huo slashed out with his sword. The kilometer-high half-moon-shaped purple-black sword slashed horizontally at Blackbeard Haze Tuan. The Blackbeard pirates are not weak in strength, and observation Haki is extremely powerful, and he hurriedly fell to the ground. But the giant battleship in the Sanwan Wolf's body are simply too big. There's no way to avoid it. Just hear a squeaking sound. The powerful sword cut the body of Sanwan Hungry Wolf in 2 pieces. Blood suddenly spurted out. Captain number 7 of the Blackbeard pirates died under Ye Huo's sword. The sword light continued to sweep across, and Marine's pacifism was beheaded one after another. All the force blocking Marine's retreat was swept away in an instant. Marco, the captain of Team Whitebeard, looked horrified when he saw this. "If you fought against yourself before, Ye Huo performs such a slashing attack. Is my ability to recover still useful?" Marco couldn't imagine it. "The pacifist is all dead. Retreat quickly, retreat quickly." Ye Huo glanced at the Whitebeard pirates who were receding like the tide and thought to himself, "Whitebeard, this can be considered a gift from me for taking your shock fruit. Ask for flowers." Ye Huo turned his attention to Blackbeard again. The expressions of the Blackbeard pirates were extremely solemn. Especially the glare from Blackbeard's small eyes is as condensed as a steel cone. Ha ha ha. Blackbeard didn't care about the death of his companion, and looked at Ye Huo with increasingly hot eyes. "Shiryu, go meet him, be careful." Rain Shiryu holds a cigar in his mouth, his figure gradually becomes transparent, and finally disappears. Ye Huo closed his eyes and turned on observation Haki to the maximum. In his perception, rays of sword light kept slashing towards him. Boom boom boom. A series of explosions sounded. Susanoo blocked all attacks. Blackbeard narrowed his eyes and stared closely at Ye Huo's Zuo Jeong, thinking about how to deal with it. Point 0 at that moment, dozens of sword lights struck one point of Suzuo's body. Click. Only a crack appeared in Zuzo. Blackbeard's eyes suddenly lit up. Good chance. Shiryu of the Rain also stabbed at this moment. The long sword instantly penetrated Susanoo, but he didn't know that this was a loophole deliberately released by Ye Mie. Ye Huo had already clenched his fists. A white light group appeared above the fist. At that moment when the long sword pierced, Ye Huo locked onto Shiryu of Rain. Boom. Ye Huo punched the space in front of him. Click, click. The space shattered, extending into cracks thousands of meters long. Rain Shiryu's sword instantly shattered. The huge power of shock was instantly introduced into the body of Rain Shiryu. A ball of blood spurted out, and the light in Ye Huo's eyes fluctuated violently. Rain Shiryu's body appeared and flew upside down. He fell hard in front of Blackbeard and others. Blackbeard glanced at the dead Shiryu of the Rain. Then he stared at Ye Huo. Ye Huo, you clearly just got the burst fruit. How can you exert such a powerful force? Ye Huo narrowed his eyes and looked at Blackbeard. I want to know, can you try it yourself? On the side, Captain Giza's badges of the Blackbeard pirates said, Captain, we'd better retreat. A fierce light flashed in Blackbeard's eyes, and infinite greed emerged. No, I want to order his eye fruit, shock fruit. It was rewritten after chapter 92. If you find something wrong with the plot, you can go back and watch it again at no cost. Chapter 97. Instantly kill Blackbeard's black hole fruit that increases the power of the Blackbeard by 10,000 times. Blackbeard walked towards Ye Huo. Dark fruit can invalidate all fruit abilities. He has strong confidence in his dark fruit, shock fruit, eye fruit, he wants them all. Blackbeard's gaze was as focused as a needle. Black energy emerged from the palms of both hands. He slammed his hands toward the ground, the secret path. Countless amounts of black energy poured into the ground. Countless black energy suddenly appeared on the ground. The surrounding marine pirates fell into the black air on the ground and their bodies continued to sink. Being sucked into it. Ye Huo's body was also involved in the dark acupoints. Suddenly I felt an extremely terrifying pressure coming from the ground. At that moment, Ye Huo Rinnegan activated Ultimate. The purple bones are fully restored. Muscles, skin, and armor have grown. In the end, a huge giant with a height of 1,000 meters was formed to resist the power of the dark acupoint. Ye Huo urged Shu Zuo to keep struggling, but he could only sink deeper and deeper. Ye Huo Rinnegan looked at Blackbeard and said calmly, Blackbeard, your dark fruit is really good. As the voice fell, Ye Huo's figure completely disappeared into the dark cave. Ha 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 ha. Blackbeard laughed. Few people can survive if they are drawn into a dark cave. Liberation. Blackbeard shouted, and a black tornado appeared behind him. Countless marine limbs were broken, and Haze's broken swords were released one after another, scattering all over the ground. Almost at the same time, an extremely huge figure emerged from above his head. Captain, be careful. Blackbeard was startled and suddenly looked up, and saw a purple-black fist falling from the sky and hitting him. Blackbeard rolled around like a lazy ass and hurriedly avoided, looking at the huge purple-black giant in shock. How can it be? It actually blocked the power of the dark acupoint. How can a person with fruit abilities block the power of the dark acupoint? Blackbeard was extremely shocked. Then the next moment, a smile appeared on his lips. The purple-black giant's body was covered with cracks. One arm was shattered. The armor on his body was also completely shattered. Susanoo turned into a skeleton again, and quickly shrank, only a few dozen meters tall. At the same time, there are also dense cracks on the skeleton. Ye Huo inside was kneeling on one knee, breathing heavily. Ha 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 ha. Blackbeard burst into laughter. Ye Huo, you are at the end of your strength now. My ability is the nemesis of all those with fruit abilities. I want your eye fruit, shock fruit. Blackbeard's confidence increased and he ran towards Ye Huo. Ye Huo looked at Blackbeard with a sarcastic look in his eyes. His Suzuo is not a fruit ability. The power of the dark water is powerful, but it can't do anything to Zuzo. That crack was made by him to confuse Blackbeard. Blackbeard's shortcoming is arrogance. He wants to take advantage of this and kill Blackbeard instantly. Countless black energy emerged from Blackbeard's palm and condensed into an octagonal windmill-like shape, spinning counterclockwise. Dark water. Blackbeard roared, and the wolf stamped on the crack of Ye Huo's Zuozu. However, Suzuo's man did not change at all. Blackbeard was stunned. Dark water can invalidate Devil Fruit's abilities. Why doesn't Ye Huo's Devil Fruit's abilities become invalid? Isn't this the ability of Devil Fruit? No, I was fooled. But at this moment, the sword in Ye Huo's palm slashed towards Blackbeard's abdomen. Blackbeard lowered his head in fear and avoided the fatal blow. Then an extremely rich white light group appeared on Ye Huo's feet. At that moment, Ye Huo kicked Blackbeard in the abdomen. Click, click, click. The space in front of Ye Huo instantly stretched out a 10,000-meter long crack. Everything shattered in an instant. Blackbeard suffered a devastating blow at that moment. His body twisted for a while, with countless black energy exuding all over him, blood spurted out of his mouth, and his pupils were dilated. With just one blow, Ye Huo killed Blackbeard. Shock Fruit's lingering power continues. Numerous huge cracks appeared in the ground throughout Marineford. Tall buildings began to collapse and the island began to sink. Ye Huo destroyed an entire island with one blow. The power of one blow is so powerful. The powerful power displayed by Ye Huo made Marine and pirates feel heart palpitations. The other pirates in the Blackbeard pirates group all died after seeing their captain. They fled in droves. Ye Huo straightened his back again. At this moment, he was full of powerful aura, and there was no trace of weakness at all. Ye Huo looked at Blackbeard's body and said slowly, "Whitebeard, I have fulfilled your unfulfilled wish for you." Although he had just absorbed the burst fruit, it can only exert some power. But after a 10,000 times increase, how could Blackbeard catch it if he was careless? Blackbeard's body exudes strange energy. These energies condensed into a strange fruit. Ye Huo grabbed the fruit, and the system's beep sounded at the same time. Ding! Congratulations to host for getting dark fruit. The 10,000 times reward is triggered. 1. 10,000 dark fruit. 2. A black hole fruit. I choose a black hole fruit. The fruit in Ye Huo's hand changed. Ye Huo directly stuffed the fruit into his mouth. After chewing it, it still tasted the same. Swallowed a whole black hole fruit. Ye Huo suddenly felt that an ability was born in his body. This feeling is very strange. I realized a lot at once. Got dark fruit's first ability, black hole. It can condense into a black hole and suck all attacks from the ability user into the black hole. This completely neutralizes the ability user's attacks. 1.0. At this moment, Ye Huo obtained the superpower shock fruit in the history of the black hole fruit. Looking at the entire pirate world, there are only a few people who can be his opponent. His only shortcoming now is that he has not yet refined armament Haki. Whitebeard and Blackbeard both die. The pirates' escape route is open. Before the war ended, Aokiji and Kizaru performed a scene together. Aokiji cast once, Ice Age Unfrozen Nephew. Kizaru also fired a shot, 8-foot shooting jade. The summit war ended early. Half a month later, Sengoku took the blame and submitted a letter of resignation, and at the same time elected Ye Huo as the new Marine Marshal. But the world government prefers Akainu. Finally let Ye Huo and Akainu fight. The winner is Marshal Marine. Chapter 98 Armament Haki 10,000 times reward. But Akainu objected, saying that Ye Huo has eye fruit, dark fruit, shock fruit, and sword skills. He is no match for him, and he requires Ye Huo not to use these 4 abilities. Sengoku was furious and claimed that it was ridiculous. But the world government agreed to this absurd request. In the eyes of the world government, Akainu, who upholds absolute justice, can better serve the world government, or the celestial dragons. On a certain island, a mountain thousands of meters high. There are thousands of huge holes around the mountain. Ye Huo stood in front of a relatively intact mountain, concentrating and feeling the strange energy in his body. Energy gradually converges with the fist. The fist had traces of black. This is a sign that the armed color is about to solidify. Next moment, Ye Huo punched out and hit the mountain. Boom! There was an unprecedented roar. Debris flew randomly and the mountain shook. A huge hole with a depth of more than 10 meters and dozens of meters in length appeared. Almost at the same time, the system sound sounded. Ding! Congratulations to host for learning armament Haki. 1000 times reward trigger 1. Super wide armament Haki. 2. Super hard armament Haki. What is a super wide weapon color? 12 Ye Huo glanced at the introduction. Super wide armament Haki coverage area is super wide. Ye or give up decisively. Opted for the super stiff armament Haki. At that moment, Ye Huo felt that the energy belonging to armament Haki in his body had changed. Became extremely solid and powerful. Ye Huo clenched his fists again. See this force attached to the surface of the fist. Ye Huo's fist suddenly became extremely bright, and there was a strange colorful glow, which was very gorgeous. At that moment, Ye Huo punched again. Boom! A loud, earth-shaking sound suddenly came. The mountain that was more than 1,000 meters high was immediately punched through by Ye Huo. A nearly cylindrical tunnel with a terrifying diameter of 200 meters ran through the entire mountain. With a rumble, the mountain began to collapse. The whole mountain fell to one side. Marine's eyes almost popped out of his head 500 meters away. He ran away and hurriedly climbed onto the battleship. Almost at this moment, a warship was approaching from a distance. This is to inform Ye Huo of the decisive battle with Akainu. Half a month later, somewhere on an unnamed island, senior executives from Marine and World Government gathered here. The protagonists Ye Huo and Sakazuki are standing 50 meters apart. Ye Huo glanced at it. On the high mountain on the east side stands Garp and Marine Marshal Sengoku. At this time, Sengoku's black hair had long turned into white hair, and his face was full of vicissitudes of life. I don't know what he went through in this short period of time. On the east side is Kong, the commander-in-chief of the World Government Army. There are 3 strong men with good aura beside him. But Ye Huo didn't recognize it. Ye Huo turned his attention to Sakazuki again, grinning, revealing a dense white face, red dog, who lent you the courage to dare to fight me? Sakazuki's face suddenly darkened. Ye Huo, I forbid you to call me Red Dog again. Red Dog. It seems that you have really become a little swollen recently. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly, and a terrifying murderous aura enveloped Sakazuki. At this moment, one of the three masters beside Kong came over. What he holds in his hand is a sea stone. Ye Huo Vice Admiral, in order to ensure that you do not have the ability to use the fruit, please wear it. Ye Huo thought to himself that Rinnegan, his most powerful power at present, is not controlled by sea stone. Then he stretched out his right hand and asked the man to put the sea stone on his hand. Upon seeing this, Akainu's eyes suddenly burst into astonishing light. Before Kong's men could leave, Akainu couldn't wait any longer and rushed towards Ye Huo. Dark Hound. Akainu shouted, his right arm quickly turned into lava, and he punched Ye Huo. The blow was fast and urgent, arriving in front of Ye Huo in an instant. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes, and his right fist was immediately wrapped by armament Haki. Colorful light swirled around Ye Huo's fist. Ye Huo also punched out. At that moment, the two forces suddenly collided. There was a loud bang. The magma fist was instantly shattered by Ye Huo's punch. Ye Huo's fist moved forward and hit Sakazuki's right fist directly. Click. There was a sound of bones breaking and tendons snapping. Sakazuki's right arm was directly shattered by Ye Huo's punch. Sakazuki let out a shrill roar. The left hand magnetizes, and the hot magma forms a huge magma fist. Great eruption. The magma fist grew in size rapidly, and in an instant it approached a huge magma sphere with a diameter of 100 meters. Ye Huo took a deep breath, still throwing a punch. The terrifying super hard armament Haki directly shatters the magma sphere. Countless magma flows and fires flew into the air, formed a graceful arc, and fell to the ground. Da da da. Ye Huo moved forward and approached Akainu. There was a hint of murderous intent in those eyes. Red Dog, you only have this ability, and you want to challenge me? Akainu kept moving backwards. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Ye Huo didn't even use the Eye Fruit, Shock Fruit, Dark Fruit, or Sword skills, but he still defeated himself so easily. To what extent has he mastered armament Haki? Ye Huo kept approaching, and a hint of cruelty suddenly appeared in Sakazuki's eyes, and he shouted, if you don't take action now, what are you waiting for? Ye Huo was stunned when he heard this. What does this mean? At this moment, countless shouts suddenly sounded from all directions. Ye Huo saw observation Haki open. I don't know when, this place has been surrounded by Marine. To be precise, he was surrounded by Marines. Guns were pointed at Ye Huo. All Marines looked at Ye Huo nervously. Ye Huo's face instantly darkened. What to spar with Sakazuki? This is clearly a trap set for himself. Endless anger burned in his chest. Countless confusions and questions came to mind. Ye Huo suppressed the anger in his heart, looked at Garp and Sengoku, and said coldly, why? Garp's face turned red and he glared at Kong. What are you doing? Sengoku's expression was also extremely ugly. Kong, are you using me? Ye Huo glanced across the faces of Garp and Sengoku. All of them are drama queens. At this moment, he couldn't believe anyone. Ye Huo turned his attention to Kong. Kong and Ye Huo looked at each other in the air and said slowly, for the sake of Garp and Sengoku, Ye Huo, I will give you a chance. As long as you tell me the secret of how you can fuse the three fruits, I can make the decision. You are still Marine's Vice Admiral. It's true that a man is not guilty, but he is guilty of having a jade. Hearing this, Ye Huo suddenly laughed wildly, and the laughter was full of disdain and contained infinite anger. Kong looked at the laughing Ye Huo coldly, and suddenly waved his palm down. At that moment, Marine, whose 570 was rising hundreds of times, pulled the trigger at the same time. For a moment, bullets were fired at Ye Huo like rain. Ye Huo's laughter became even more violent, as if he didn't hear the gunshots at all and didn't notice the attacks at all. At that moment, thousands of bullets hit Ye Huo's body. However, just 3 meters in front of Ye Huo, countless bullets are unable to move forward. Then, countless purple-black energy emerged and condensed into a skeleton. Ye Huo raised his right hand. The purple-black energy kept overflowing, directly bursting the sea stone. Ye Huo looked at Kong in the distance, his eyes bursting with cold light, and endless murderous intent emerged. Kong's face turned extremely ugly at this time. He lost his voice and said, Your eye fruit, isn't it a devil fruit? Ye Huo rubbed his fists, shook his neck, smiled coldly and said, You can ask the King of Hell this question after you die. At that moment, Ye Huo's eyes turned into Rinnegan. The huge purple-black skeleton grew muscles, skin, and armor. The 1,000-meter-high body is like a mountain. Ye Huo jumped up high and jumped directly to the center of Suzuo's eyebrows. Ye Huo raised his palm, and Suzuo raised his right arm, raising the 600-meter purple-black energy sword in his hand. Damn old man, if you dare to plot against me, go to hell. Ye Huo roared loudly and swung his palm downwards. The huge purple-black energy sword slashed at Kong. Kong's figure disappeared from the top of the mountain in an instant. Ye Huo's sword struck the mountain. Click, there was a loud bang. The mountain was immediately split into two by Ye Huo's long sword. He actually cut off a mountain with one sword. Chapter 99. Defeat the commander-in-chief of the Marine Army with one punch. Ye Huo let go of observation Haki, and immediately felt that Kong was flying above Susanoo's head. The fist with the colorful stream of light hit him hard on the left side of the head. The black fist the size of a sandbag was surrounded by red light. This is the performance of Armament Haki's training to ultimate. Kong went all the way from Marine Admiral, Marine Marshal to the position of Commander-in-Chief of the World Government Army. Its strength is not inferior to Sengoku and Garp at all. Even much stronger than Sengoku and Garp. Kong's armament Haki is probably already integrated into the skin and into the bone marrow. Ha! Kong shouted loudly, and Haki's fist, which had a powerful aura, hit Susanoo's head hard. Dang! An extremely loud roar suddenly exploded. The red stream of light shines. Purple-black energy spurted out. The top of the head of Susanoo's head was intact. Kong and Ye Huo's eyes showed shock at the same time. Garp and Sengoku even widened their eyes. No one understands how powerful Kong's armament Haki is better than these two. They never expected that such a powerful armament Haki would leave no scar on the head of Ye Huo, a strange giant. So tough. Kong's expression changed. Although he knew Ye Huo was powerful, he didn't expect that Ye Huo would be so powerful. What is this strange eye fruit of his? Ye Huo saw that Shuzuo was too big and had difficulty moving, so he immediately restrained Shuzuo's strength. The purple-black giant suddenly disappeared. Ye Huo held a long sword in his hand and slashed at Kong with a sword. At that moment, a 1,000-meter-long half-moon-shaped sword slashed towards Kong. Kong kicked the air and dodged directly to the side. Dodged his attack. Moonwalk. Backquote. Ye Huo's Rinnegan followed Kong closely. He has always been very lazy. Haven't learned this Marine 6 styles yet. At the same time, he also felt that the Marine 6 styles were of little use. If you encounter any enemy, just open the Rinnegan and Susanoo, and kill them all with one strike of the sword. At this time, Kong's use of Marine 6 styles gave him a whole new experience. Kong's body moved quickly in the air. Ye Huo's Rinnegan barely kept up. The next moment, Kong was in front of Ye Huo. Armament Haki's fist, which was attached with a red stream of light, punched Ye Huo's chest. At that moment, a ball of white light appeared in Ye Huo's right fist. Ye Huo used Shock Fruit's ability again. At that moment, Ye Huo waved his fist, and the Japanese fist collided with Kong's fist. The space seems to have turned into glass. Immediately afterwards, radiation-like cracks appeared. Click. Space shattered. Ye Huo Shock Fruit's power collided with Kong Armament Haki's power. At that moment, a horrific explosion exploded from the two vice admirals. Kong's body flew backwards and smashed into the ground. A purple-black ball of light appeared in front of Ye Huo, forming a shield to block the terrifying shock wave. Ye Huo can swoop down and prepare for the result Kong. But at this moment, Akainu, who had already retreated, rushed forward again. The arm that had been smashed by Ye Huo was raised again. His arm turned into magma again, and the blazing high temperature evaporated into billowing heat waves. Meteor volcano. Akainu let out a loud roar. Huge magma spheres with a diameter of 100 meters were sprayed towards Ye Huo. At that moment, the sky above the entire island was almost covered by this magma sphere. The surrounding temperature instantly increased by dozens of degrees. The terrifying energy, huge impact, and hundreds of magma spheres rendered this place into a sea of fire and purgatory. Damn Akainu. A surprise attack. Ye Huo suddenly felt something in his heart. He thought about Sabo after he got the Mera fruit. Armament Haki was once used to unleash the power of the Mera fruit. How powerful is Armament Haki plus Shock Fruit? Thinking of this, Ye Huo separated his left hand and clenched his fist. The fist has a black Armament Haki attached to it. At the same time, a purple-black stream of light began to linger. The next moment, white light emerged from the fist and condensed into a white ball of light. The purple-black light and the white light reflect each other. At that moment, Ye Huo slammed into the space. You can see Ye Huo's fist as the center. The fragmentation of space is no longer radial. Instead, it looks like a spider web. The space spreads up, down, left and right in 10 meters. In the blink of an eye, the radius of the space fragmentation has reached a terrifying 1,000 meters. Power that was many times more terrifying than before suddenly burst out. Countless magma fireballs shattered one after another and turned into little sparks. Falling into the sea suddenly made a sizzling sound. An extremely powerful murderous intention enveloped him. A trace of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. At this moment, from the ground, the sky above the island seemed to have turned into a sea of fire. Ye Huo roared, and punched Akainu's body with a punch that was fused with the weapon color and shock fruit. Sakazuki slowly turned around and saw a purple-black fist, wrapped in a white ball of light, hitting his body hard. It fell to the ground and ignited a large area of jungle. Red dog, go to hell. The sea of fire no longer went upwards, but fell downwards. Sakazuki froze on the spot. The steam filled the air and enveloped the entire island. Shin Fang's figure also disappeared into the white mist. Produces countless amounts of snow-white steam. Sea water is evaporated. Suddenly, a figure suddenly appeared behind Sokka's. Sakazuki turned on observation Haki to the maximum and carefully felt the movement in all directions. Akainu's body was bent instantly, and his body became as thin as a piece of paper. Ordinary soldiers couldn't see anything at all and were confused inside. Chapter 100. Let Marine Admiral Akainu kneel down and call Daddy. Wow. Blood spurted from the corner of Akainu's mouth. His whole body fell to the ground. Ye Huo's fist kept pressing down. The powerful force penetrated Akainu's body, blasted onto the island, and radiated in all directions. Click, click. There were cracks in the mountain. The mountain began to collapse. Huge cracks appeared on the ground. The crack continued to expand, and in a blink of an eye, the width reached several meters, forming a strait. Sea water kept pouring in, and rumbling sounds came and went. The air waves rolled, the wind swept across, and the fog near the island was blown away by the sea breeze. Marine immediately spotted Ye Huo and Akainu. Just as Kong was about to step forward, Ye Huo yelled, "If you step forward again, I will crush Sakazuki's head." At this moment, Ye Huo's cloak of justice had long been shattered. That lazy gaze was filled with endless evil energy. Ye Huo held Akainu's head with his right palm. Armament Haki shines with purple-black light. The energy of the fruits condensed into white light groups. Under his palm, Sakazuki's arms were completely destroyed, bleeding from 7 holes, and his breath was extremely weak. Kong's face turned ugly for a moment. Sakazuki is a rare talent. Lava fruit is an extremely powerful fruit and must never fall into the hands of Ye Huo 270 again. Kong said solemnly, "Ye Huo, let Sakazuki go, you can leave safely." Ye Huo's lips curled up when he heard this. "After you sneak attack on me, you just want me to leave like this? How is that possible?" Kong's face darkened. "Letting you leave safely is the biggest concession I can make. Why?" Ye Huo lowered his head and looked at Sakazuki, who was holding his head. A crazy and evil smile appeared on Ye Huo's lips. "Sakazuki, do you think I should let you go?" Sakazuki's face was extremely ugly, and he opened his mouth with difficulty. "First, Marine Admiral. If you kill me, you will only attract Marine's crazy revenge. Ye Huo, you don't understand how powerful Marine is, how powerful the world government is, and you don't know how powerful Celestial is. How powerful dragons are. You are a smart man. Killing me will only cause harm and will not do you any good." Ye Huo grinned, revealing a dense white fang, and the terrifying murderous intention struck Sakazuki's mind. "Sakazuki, I thought you knew me very well. I don't like to look forward or backward when doing things. I always follow my own desires. Now I'll give you a chance to live. Kneel down and call me Dad 3 times, and I will spare you." BCFC, Sakazuki was stunned. "You, what did you want me to call you?" "I'll let you call me Dad, you're lousy, in front of Steel Sengoku, Garp, and those world government executives, and I'll let you go." In the distance, Kong's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. The superiors have decided to make Sakazuki the Marshal. If Sakazuki is shameless for the sake of his life, then he cannot be the Marshal. This has a huge impact on his chances. But if Sakazuki doesn't scream, based on Ye Huo's crazy character, he would probably really kill him. This damn lunatic. Kong's spirit was extremely tense. Akainu's face turned extremely ugly for a moment. "Ye Huo, you arrogant villain, you dare to humiliate me like this, I will never give in even if I die." When Ye Huo heard this, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and the power of armament Haki and shock fruit in his palm suddenly exploded. Powerful and terrifying power was introduced into Sakazuki's mind. Sakazuki's 7 orifices were bleeding and he screamed pitifully. Finally, Sakazuki endured the severe pain and said with difficulty, I scream." Hearing this, Ye Huo restrained his weapon color and the power of shock fruit. Ye Huo let go of the half-dead Sakazuki. "Don't think about running away, don't think about Kong taking the opportunity to save you, you and I are so close, if I stab you, you will die. In your current state, even if you become an elemental, you will never be able to stop the power of my Haki and sword slash. I'll count 3. If you don't shout within 3, I'll kill you." Sakazuki's expression changed. He hated Ye Huo so much in his heart. "I wish I could cut Ye Huo into pieces with 1,000 knives. But he is no match for Ye Huo." 2. Ye Huo raised his sword, and armament Haki and sword slash erupted at the same time. Sakazuki's spirit suddenly became extremely tense. He doesn't want to die yet. He still has unfinished business. He also wants to be Marine's Marshal. Remove cancers like Garp, Sengoku, Aokiji, and Kizaru from Marine's team. He also wants to rebuild Marine's reputation. He also wanted Ye Huo on the orders of Marshal Marine, and mobilized experts from Marine and world government to surround and kill Ye Huo. By the way, as long as you can survive, become a Marine Marshal. Sooner or later, I can take revenge for today. Why should I care about temporary honor and disgrace? 3. Ye Huo's voice sounded, and Akainu fell to his knees on the ground and shouted, "Dad, Dad, Dad." At this moment, thousands of Marines were shocked. Discussions arose. Akainu Admiral, Weishan Admiral actually called Ye Huo in the time zone. Akainu Admiral, it's such a shame, it's a disgrace to Marine. Akainu is not worthy of being our Marine's Admiral. What happened to the senior management of Marine? Do the senior leaders of world government have shit in their heads? Why do they treat Ye Huo Vice Admiral like this? Ye Huo Vice Admiral is the future of Marine. Only Ye Huo Vice Admiral is qualified to be the Marshal of Marine. Ah. Shut up. Ye Huo is no longer Marine Vice Admiral. Discussions continued. Kong's face turned extremely dark. This Sakazuki is such a waste. Still a spineless piece of trash. Garp and Sengoku also had a hint of disbelief in their eyes. None of them expected it. This Sakazuki actually called Ye Huo daddy in front of thousands of Marines and senior leaders of the world government. He could actually bear such humiliation. At this moment, Sengoku had a new orientation toward Sakazuki. Able to bend and stretch, able to endure humiliation and bear heavy burdens, he is definitely worthy of a big responsibility. Sakazuki, just survive this time. Future achievements are limitless. When Ye Huo heard that Sakazuki really called him daddy, he immediately smiled with great joy. The anger in my heart was completely gone. My chest felt extremely happy. Ye Huo laughed loudly and said, Kong, world government, look, this is your future Marshal Marine. He can do anything to survive. What use do you have for such rubbish? Just let me help you get rid of this rubbish. After the words fell, the sword in Ye Huo's palm wrapped around the purple-black super hard armament Haki, and a sword slash was slashed out, instantly hitting Sakazuki's head.